Okay, we are live. Kids on Bikes.
Welcome, everyone.
Yeah.
That's listening in YouTube land. We're back again with episode 4 of the OTNG Season 3 Nils Drives Kids on Bikes Adventure of the Golden Seal Pelt, or something like that.
I like just an
We
adventure
have,
of the golden seal. I think that works.
oh, there you go. We have Aaron playing Sloan Nagon and Peter playing Danny Fuller. And why don't you guys give a recap of last week's exciting episode?
I just remember the bike chase and slamming into the guy. Wham!
Right. That's all that would matter. Right.
And last week
Well,
let's see if we work backwards off of that like we did the prior session. We had, didn't we get the tape recorder and the camera last session because
yes.
we just, well, Sloan certainly decided that we needed proof because
Right,
none of
exactly.
the adults were really going to listen to us or let us participate in what was happening here, nor really tell us the full story.
And we felt we'd earned our place.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
So we went down there, and when everybody was off on their when everybody was off, no, the boat had gone out. That's right. We were underneath the dock, or going to go underneath the dock to listen, and the boat took off. They were
Right,
doing something,
right.
and they needed to be out there by midnight, and it was a full moon, so it was really hard for us to hide. And so we ended up going back to um, the the captain's shack,
Mm-hmm.
and finding the scroll of summoning that left me with a headache that made me go throw up outside, and made us both feel really sick. And we rolled it back up, and we knew this was something important.
And
And
we took it to,
you got some pictures too of the statue,
yeah, let's see what
and you were
I
going to take a picture
pictures.
of the scroll. And I said, no, no, don't do that. I don't think that's a good idea. I think we just need to take the scroll.
Let's see.
And we took that up to our friends, um,
Mm-hmm.
the King of Otters, and um, I can't remember her full title now, because I
The,
think they trust us more than the grown-ups do. Naomi's nice, but she's kind of she and her dad are kind of dismissive of us, and we're determined to be part of the solution here.
Right. And we also saw Sheila swim out to Seal Rock.
oh,
Yeah, like
right,
a
yeah.
motorboat fast. Like she was like as fast as if she was on a paddleboard.
Mm.
And then she just hung out. She was looking for something, and then she just hung out. And I went down
Oh
and
yeah,
talked to her because you were too shy.
I took a pit. That's right. I took a. Well, it's not really shy. Yeah, shy, but very insecure about the whole
It's right. It's
situation.
just teenage. It's just teenage
Yeah.
stuff.
We also took a picture of. I also took a photo of Danny talking with Dobbs and Brew.
That's
Mm-hmm.
right. Surreptitiously.
Right.
Right.
And I gave the scroll to Dobbs and Brew.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we had left there, and can't remember exactly where we were,
You
but
were riding back through town.
we were riding back through town, and the captain, there was a huge commotion going on. The captain was clearly pissed off that something was missing. And he said, well, somebody took it. And at that moment, we were riding along the road, kind of silhouetted, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they all kind
Mm-hmm.
of looked at us like, hey, those are the kids we saw at the dock.
Get him.
Yeah,
Get
it
those
was this
kids.
perfect Spielberg moment. We're like, must be the kids, get them. And so we took off on our bikes and wove in and out of houses. And we lost one of the two cars, and the other one cut us off and blocked us with screeching tires and everything. And as the guy came out and went to grab Sloan, who appeared a bigger threat, I just continued my forward momentum and slammed into him. Metagame wise, rolling really well. Not trying to, but again, just like when Marty grabbed me, I rolled really well and body slammed him with myself and my bike into his own car. knocking him unconscious, and I'm sure he has a concussion or something. Oh no, I hit his leg as well. Seems he had a
Yeah, you
broken
caught him in the
bone.
knee with your bike tire.
That was
And
it. And
And
kind of
he
rode
smashed his head on the trunk of the
and smashed
car.
his head on the. Yeah, that was it. That was it. And then you're like, "What?" I go, let's go!" And we rode like bats out of hell, teenage bats out of hell. And I believe that's where the credits rolled last week.
Yep.
yes, yep.
It was such a
So,
great scene in that bike chase. It was really well done, Nils.
Mm.
well, you're the one that rolled well. Um,
I mean, the whole thing, it was set up, it was
so,
played well, it was a lot of fun and obviously
right.
memorable. So
Mhm. Mhm. Um, so it's Sunday morning. It's still, it's yeah, because you guys got up really early um,
yeah,
to get out there. And so the town now, it's now kind of about the time when maybe 8 o'clock or so when the town's starting to wake up. And you guys are on your bikes speeding away from the crime scene. Um, and people are seeing, as you're riding away, people are seeing you because Sloan had been shouting, help, help,
yeah, help, help.
like that. And people were starting to come out of their houses. So they see you guys riding away. So what are your plans at this point other than just getting away?
What are our plans at this point?
Where should we go? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what we should do.
We could always go to hide at your house for a while because your mom's not home.
Right.
We could hide at my house too, but Dad might be home, and then it'd suck. So better bet at your house
Okay. Okay. Let's go. Let's go back
because
to my
I don't want to
house.
lead anybody to brew. I just in case.
Okay. Okay.
We know 100 ways to get out of your house or my house.
Right. Right. Okay. Yeah. Let's head for my house, and
Okay.
maybe we'll figure out what our next move is from here.
Besides,
Mm-hmm.
as a 9-year-old player character, I know there's food at his house.
Right. I've got the good
But no,
cereal.
but no,
Good cereal. That's right. We want to have a lot of food at my house.
but no tuna fish. No tuna
Well,
fish is
there's no
allowed.
tuna fish at either house or salmon.
Right.
Right.
Thanks to Danny's appropriations.
Right.
I'm helping.
Okay. So you guys are able to make it back there. Yeah, the guy is obviously knocked out, and
We take a
not
circuitous
going to move
route
him.
just in case there is someone
Oh,
who's
Okay.
you know what we do before before we ride away? I take a picture of his like
Okay.
unconscious body
in the license plate.
and with the license plate and such.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. I'll say you can get that in one picture.
Yeah.
cool. Good thinking, Sloan. Like he's fiddling with getting his camera out, and I'm like, right, let's go. And it click, 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 and, and then you go. Because you're the one who's thinking. See, that's it.
Right.
I like it. I'm the 9-year-old brick.
Yeah. Yeah. So one thing I realized mechanically that I've been may have been forgetting to do was that uh, in addition to when you make a success roll or make a roll, the amount that you succeed by, the greater the success, the greater the difference, the greater the success. The same thing goes with going the other way. The
Failure,
lower
sure.
the number, the furthest, the greater difference for a failure. So, as we move forward, let's just try to keep that in
Keep
mind
that in.
while we're.
Sure.
Sure.
Are there steps? Is it like steps of
Um,
five, or is it sort of just weighed by the game master? Or...
yeah. There's steps. There's a difference of 1 to 4, 5 to 9, or 10 or greater.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but it's slightly different for combat. So, um, slightly it's
We're
steps
going
that
to
are slightly
avoid
different.
combat if we can.
Yeah. Yeah. There's nobody going to be left in this town after Jenny's done with it. Um,
Guess
so
I don't know my
you're
own
able to get back.
strength.
That's right. You're able to get back to Sloan's house, and there is some really good cereal there. I'm not going to make you roll for that. Um,
His mom buys
uh,
name brand cereals.
That's right. So uh, you guys are still pretty, um, adrenalized. It's
Sure.
going to take you a little while to kind of come down from the chase and the shock of the encounter and things, and everything else that's happened this morning.
Hell yes.
Finding finding the well, actually you found the scroll last night, but still kind of just talking over the whole because this has all been less than 2 days. It started on a Friday night
Oh
and
yeah.
Saturday morning. So this is a huge you know dump of weirdness on you in a very short amount of time.
I'll say.
So yeah. So um, why don't we give you guys some time to kind of talk amongst yourselves to process this and see if there's any other ideas you come up with of what you might want to do.
Well,
Well, we got Naomi involved. And didn't Brew also say that they felt that they could? Oh no, what was it? We talked about how we were part of the community, and this is our problem too. I can't remember exactly what we said. Oh, the great something about the great spirit
Mm-hmm.
is overall or something like that. And I used what I
Mm-hmm.
knew about Native history, and they seemed to understand that we were serious, and they looked at us differently. That's what you said. They looked at us differently after we said what we said, almost like they're like, okay, yeah, these kids are going to help, and they're clearly part of the Great Spirit's plan. So, and
Right. Yeah. So
that's where we
then,
kind of left it with them, and that's when we went out. That's when we left, because
right.
Sloan left angry because he felt like we were being
Yep.
dismissed.
Yeah. Sloan um, kind of exploded about being dismissed so much. It stormed
Right.
off, and then Danny made a very impassioned speech about community and helping and things like that. And by that time, Anat Klosh, Naomi's father, and Naomi had already left.
Oh yeah,
But Brew and Dobher were still there, and Brew was the one that kind of came to see you in a new, more mature light at 9 years old.
that was it.
Um,
Thank you.
right.
yeah, she came to see us in a new, more well, Danny in a
Yeah.
new, more mature light. But
Right.
what did she ask us to do anything or?
No, it was at that point Danny made his statement, and then he left to follow you. So
Right.
it still was the kind of left. Um,
Left hanging.
yeah,
This,
the Naomi's father basically was saying, let us take care of it. It's still too dangerous, that kind of thing, and um, that's where it was kind of left. So at this point, there was no more tasks or information that had been given as to what should be done.
Um,
And so, actually, let me just one other quick thing, just to kind of reiterate the initial task was that Brew is missing a seal skin and needs
right.
to get it. She's basically some sort of seal person and needs to
Princess.
get the seal skin to be able to make it back into the water before she can go back. Yeah, seal queen. Um, so that's the task that was still outstanding. And the implication was that now that Naomi and Anaklash know about that, they will organize people to try to address
Right.
that. But um, so
But we also think there's a lot more going on.
yes, yeah, that you haven't heard about yet.
Yeah, because they're feeding something out there. I think it might be those sharks he's raising.
Right.
Right, because one of the rumors around town was that Old Man McCormick, the fishing captain, is actually raising great white sharks.
Yes, right. Raising training. Yeah, but he's feeding something pork. A lot of pork.
Right.
A lot of pork.
We have the receipt. We have the photo of the receipts to prove it.
That's right.
Right.
Sloane's like he's the investigative reporter.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I like it. He's a cerebral kid. He's a little older, so he understands a little of the adult world more than I do. Understands what needs to be done. Whereas I'm just a 9-year-old ball of reaction.
Mm-hmm.
but it's a little bit more empathetic, right? A little
Yeah.
more,
Hmm.
what's the right word? Not empathetic.
Well, mature is part of it. That's you're 13, I'm 9. That's a big four
Emotionally
years.
mature, maybe.
Yeah, certain. Yeah, that's a big 4 years. I mean, that's pretty much the range I see from the sixth graders in my hallway through the eighth graders I teach.
Yeah, that's bizarre. How big those steps get, and then, well, I guess they
Yeah.
still keep getting, they keep, I mean, I work with a bunch of 20-year-olds. I'm like, motherfuckers.
Yeah, Brian was talking about how 20-year-olds don't learn anything. He said, well, they don't learn anything at 13 either.
Yeah, just, the learning curve's just slower,
That's
I guess. I don't know.
smaller bites. So
So
we, I think,
I've got a couple
go
of
ahead.
ideas, and I mean, we could we could. I was thinking we could go try to get back with the, with Naomi and her dad, and learn something more about the legend and the lore of what's happening here.
Hmm.
We could go we could go talk to Sheila because she knows she's got some connection with the ocean and the swimming and the seals. I mean, she was out on Seal Rock.
Hmm.
Uh,
And there's a lot of great whites out there because of the seals. So she should probably be warned that McCormick is messing around, and all those rumors we heard about him are probably true.
yeah, yeah. Tho-
Because we have it on good authority when we tell her, we have it on good authority that they've been feeding, that he and his crew go out in the middle of the night and with all kinds of meat stuff, and they're
Chumming.
taking it out. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're chumming for some reason.
yeah. So that's, I mean, those are my two ideas. I'm not sure which one's the right approach.
I like them both. I think it might behoove us to go talk to Sheila, especially you as the older kid now. She can be less dismissive and maybe actually talk about something. Whereas with me, she's more like, yeah, okay, 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 bye, and then took off.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, yeah. That's,
And I'm kind of out of ideas. I like those, and Danny's also worried because Monday's tomorrow, and we're gonna have to deal with the principal and
oh, right. Did you get your homework done, Danny?
most of it. But I've been a kid, and I'm gonna be in big trouble, and I know it.
Well, now you've insulted an adult, so now you're thinking the police might be after you.
Listen,
Maybe.
he was chasing us. I don't know how many
Yeah,
times
exactly.
I've done.
Danny's like,
Yeah,
that's it.
that might be the case, but there's you two are always in the middle of all the trouble that goes on in this town, so there seems to be a pattern. Um, but
He sounds like the sheriff. He's good.
okay, so um, let me think for a second. Let me consult my notes.
Right.
Uh,
Perfect.
right. So
These notes are amazing.
these what? Oh no, notes.
Yeah.
They said boats. Okay, so do you have a do you have a direction that you want to go? Have a decision as to
I
which one
think
you
we're
want to do?
still mulling that over
Okay,
right now.
okay.
Yeah.
Um,
If we go see Naomi, we're gonna have to tell her that we saw them loading meat aboard. We weren't spying. We were just riding by and we saw it. We can lie a little.
uh, yeah,
We weren't under the dock in a boat.
yeah, yeah. I think that's the, I think that's the next best course is to go to Naomi and clue her and her dad, not Kosh and at Kosh.
A not cloche.
not caution to the
The new information we have.
yeah,
But they said something about midnight and the full moon was important.
right.
We don't need to mention the whole summoning thing because I'm sure Dobbs will clue them all in later. Well,
Right.
Brew will. Dobbs doesn't talk a lot.
What's summoning? Oh, the scroll.
The scroll.
We could probably tell them about that too, and maybe ask. Maybe they could tell us like the legend or the lore of this
That's a good
seal
idea. And say,
people.
look, we know something's coming, so can you give us some warning? Because when they went out, yeah, we can just say when they went out to sea, we went and checked the cabin again because we had an idea.
Hmm.
The shack, excuse me.
And that's where
We
we
had an idea
found
there was
the.
more there, and that's where we found this thing that Brew and Dobbs were very upset and excited about. Dobbs didn't like it at all, and I don't know. We left it with them, so we don't know what they're
I
doing with it. But
started a transcription of the weird scroll, so I could show that to them too, so they know what they at least they know what Brew has. So yeah, let's go that direction, Nils. We'll go and
there you go.
find Naomi and her, at least Naomi. Maybe she's a little
Right.
more, she's probably a little closer to our age, a little maybe a little more sympathetic in terms
Right.
of, uh,
Plus, we have a relationship with her. She sees us regularly.
right, right.
Yeah. Okay. So, just as you're uh, coming to this decision and getting ready, kind of started talking about packing up and heading out,
Uh-huh.
there's a knock on the door, the front door.
From the kitchen where we are, I'm gonna like look out towards the living room, and you know how you can look through the side of the drapes without moving them,
Mm-hmm.
when you're at
Yeah.
the right angle or whatever, and see who's knocking at the
hmm
door.
Right. Okay.
They do that in my house because of
Peter,
bill collectors.
Right.
um, Aaron, what's your birthday month?
September.
September. Okay. So, and Peter, your actual birth date is the 7th.
Yeah.
Okay. Um,
Uh-oh.
okay. No, oh, Erica's sick again.
Oh
Oh,
Um,
no.
yeah, she's been like last week. It seemed like almost every other day she stayed home from work because she was better and then worse and then better and then worse.
It's too
it's
Okay,
a
bad.
so
going to
there's a knock
work
at the door.
problem.
I know, I know. That's making her sick. Um, okay, so um, September. Okay, so the okay, so it's one of the other Fisher captains. Um,
Oh,
fishermen,
one of the
but
other
vice
sailors,
captain.
for lack of better word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he's not very successful at it. But he's very active in the community, and he kind of is almost more of um, a go between kind of the wrong word, but he's kind of like the unofficial head of the boat captains um,
Right,
in
sort of
their
like a
He's sort of the
community.
public voice of the captains.
right, almost like almost like a shop steward kind of maybe.
Mm-hmm.
He's not that there's obviously a union, but he's kind of like everyone likes him. He's not that good at fishing, but he's been part of the
But
community
they've all
for his
agreed
whole
he could
life.
speak for them, and he's the one they've all kind of chosen to
Right,
go speak for them. Yeah. Okay.
right,
Oh,
right. His
the
name
captains are
is
they're after us now, all of them.
right. Well, his name is or his nickname is Salty Sharkbait, and that's he he is obviously that's kind of the nickname the town has given him because he's not he obviously had a problem long before you were born with some sort of shark thing and um, but but he takes it in good fun. He doesn't he seems like a good you
A
know
good guy.
honest person. Yeah, he's kind of shorter, kind of round. He wouldn't move too fast.
Okay,
you might be needing to.
I'll open the door. I'll say, "Hey, Captain Jones, my mom's not here right now."
Um, and he kind of steps closer to you and whispers, "We've got to get you out of here. The McCormick's coming. Come with me. I'll get you to safety."
We look at each other like, what the fuck? I guess
And
you better, better.
you know from the community that McCormick, being McCormick, he's like one of the captains that is curmudgeon enough that is always clashed with this guy and the community of of
He,
captains, and
he's
so
very much about his own good, his own best interest, not the community's.
right, exactly right,
Gotcha.
Like fishing over limits or fishing in the grounds that
or
were
bringing back illegal catches and things
or
like that. Yeah,
yeah, like fishing in the
Well,
grounds that
I
were left for fallow for one season or something, or yeah, that
well,
kind of
Sloan,
stuff.
mm-hmm.
I think we
Yeah.
should go with him. Your dad was on his crew for a while anyway. I think we can trust him.
Okay.
Besides,
Um,
I have a bike chain and lock in my backpack. We're gonna whack somebody with if they try to mess with us.
Well, you've already proven you don't need that. So
I don't. I know it's just insurance.
just think what will happen then.
I
Um,
keep thinking some tentacled creature. That's all I'm thinking of, not other people.
right. So I guess when we're headed out to his car, um,
mhm,
truck,
His
beat up
truck.
jalopy,
Yeah,
whatever
he's
it
got a
is.
truck.
mhm.
Um, how I ask him, how do you know about that?
Because all we're gonna own up to is being chased by his men. That's it. We don't know why they chased
Right,
us,
Yeah.
but they chased us, and other people saw it
right, right,
or the aftermath
um,
anyway.
right. He said, "It's okay. We've been in contact with Naomi. Get in the truck quickly, and we'll explain once we get you to safety."
I'm not admitting to nothing about Naomi or
Me
anything
neither.
until I hear more. Yeah, we just sit quietly, look at each other like, oh man,
So he has you actually get in the bed of the truck and lay down, so it's not you're kind of hidden, and he
right?
throws a
Tarp.
tarp over you. It smells like fish. And he leaves your house, drives back into the main part of town, and pulls up behind somewhere and pulls out the tarp, and from where you are, you can see it's the back of the VFW building.
Mm,
Um, and he says, "Okay, quick, let's get inside." And so he like helps you get out, and you go into the back, you go into the VFW building.
Okay.
Um, Once you get inside, uh, it's not obviously it's probably not that big. It's maybe only two or three rooms, and you the front main room looks like you would expect it, uh, which is what, Peter? What would you think the main meeting hall of the VFW would look like?
Oh, as you come in the big center doors, it's probably a repurposed Quonset hut or a simple design building,
Hmm.
like a big warehouse. And so as you come in, there'll be cabinets on each side of you to put your coats and stuff in, but it's a big open hall. At the back, there'll be a couple of doors, one into an office and one into a kitchen that also has a connecting door. It's got that big window in the kitchen too, so they can do big
yeah.
Hmm.
buffets if they need
Yeah.
to.
The service window, right? Yeah, because
Yeah,
this
because in
is
the Depression, supposedly this was a soup kitchen too.
right, and this is also the main place that because obviously the community center isn't where the library isn't really set up for food. So if there's some sort of community food thing like
Well, it's the
like a
crab feed and
Thanksgiving or something.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
the
crab
crab
Right,
feed.
feed,
exactly. Yeah,
absolutely.
right, right. So he takes you in the back door and goes into the kitchen and opens up the freezer and walks in and says, "Come on,
Is he
I'm
you
leading
follow
us,
along."
or is he holding it
Yes,
open for us?
he's leading you.
Okay,
He
well,
walks in himself.
okay, then I'll follow him. If he's
Okay.
just opening it for us, no fucking
I'm
way.
standing at the door, yeah, at the doorway, like look, I'm like trailing.
Right.
Because you're the
Okay.
smart,
So
again, because you're the smart one.
I don't bring my
so he
jacket.
walks over. Um, he walks over and pulls up a grating, and there's a stairways going down into like
What
what
the
looks
fuck is
effectively looks
this?
like a
Now
cave.
I'm into it.
Oh,
There's a stairway.
it's the caves. It's the caves. Remember, there's caves under the whole town.
Well, this
And
is. Yeah.
at that point,
Supposedly, we've never found them. There's
so
just a rumor.
so
At that
when
point,
you say that, Salty like whips around, and looks at you, and says, "What do you know about the caves?"
well, just what everybody knows, Mister. It's just Captain. It's just there's caves everywhere, and it goes back way back before the Indians lived here.
Hmm.
Some people
Well,
say they're from volcanoes. Some people they say it's shifted earthquake, and other people said giant worms ate them.
Yeah, and this for Sloan, this is just more about, the secrets that adults keep from kids.
hmm
Exactly.
hmm good point. So he says, "Well, let's go downstairs. It's getting cold." And so he goes. At this point, he does have you. He does
Go
open it,
first.
the door for you to go first because he needs to close the door behind it.
Sure, I'm going in. I'm excited.
Okay.
I am
Okay.
not old enough or bright enough to know this is a very dangerous situation.
Sure, and I
Danny.
guess I'm gonna, as we go down yeah, that's fine. I'll go down with Danny.
Okay. Okay. So he goes. He comes down after you, and they're just normal stairs. It's not like a ladder or anything. Um, and he closes the grate, the false grate behind you. And as you get down there, you find Naomi and Anat Klosh and a couple of the other um, community members from the town. There's the principal. There's um, the sheriff. There's a couple of other of like there's someone from one of the restaurants, the
Oh,
world
it's an
famous
intervention
restaurants.
because I bit Marty.
Is the principal there?
The principal and the sheriff. I'm
Oh
busted.
God,
I am so busted. This is the 9-year-old thinking.
it's like some
Yeah,
kind of
right.
weird um,
It's like
Masons
some
meeting or
secret
something.
organization, like Masons or something.
Mhm.
Are you guys the Illuminati?
Yeah, because a 9-year-old kid in 1979 knows about the Illuminati. Um,
I had to explain that to a student the other day. He says, "Do you believe in the Illuminati?" I said, "Do I believe in a secret organization that's so bad at keeping secrets that you know about it?" No, I don't. He goes, "That's a really good point." I go, "Yeah, they're really bad at keeping secrets. So how good can they be?"
They're
unless,
just
of course,
hiding in
their
plain sight.
secret is
That's
that
the real purpose.
That's it.
I'm sorry, what?
They're just hiding in plain sight. That's the real
That's it.
Yeah,
purpose.
exactly. That's the idea is that they make you think it's fake by making themselves fake. Um, so this is obviously a gathering of, and you kind of get the sense it's like all the heads of in the town of each different
So the
community
town
group,
leaders.
kind of. Yeah,
Yeah, the
exactly.
town.
Yeah, yeah. And so Naomi comes over and says, "Oh, good, you're safe. Don't worry, it's okay. We're safe here. These are all good people. Well, and um, we knew that McCormick was going to be coming after you, and your house was one of the first places he was going to look. So we needed to get you somewhere safe since um, you obviously can't listen to us."
To which I should reply, "What?" But I won't.
What? Yeah. So the as you start to look around, you notice this is everything upstairs looked normal. It was you've been in the VFW a number of times. For as you said, crab feeds or whatever community events. But obviously down here, this is something very different. It is kind of a refurnished or finished basement area, but there's a lot of artwork and memorabilia, fishing memorabilia. But instead of more normal fish, ocean-like artwork, this is kind of more along the lines of. There's a lot of figures that you see that would be kind of representative of the statue that you saw at
Okay.
McCormick's.
Hmm.
But in this case, it's like humans fighting in some way against these fish people. or in some cases there's like humans and other sea creatures fighting together against these fish people.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So it's very, you've never seen anything other than that one statue. You've never seen anything like this or anything to indicate this. Um, and then actually, as you've kind of come in um, and looked around the room and turned around, looking at the stairway going back up to, where you came down, there's a plaque over the top of that that says "Veterans of the Fin Wars."
Cool. Well, being a 9-year-old, I will, as he came in, at everything, and as she says this to us, basically, and I appear to not be listening, I'll be looking at everything else, going, "Well, we're not the only ones who weren't listening." And I'll look right at her, and I'll say something very similar to what I said about Bruce, like, "Look, we live here too, and our families live here too, and we're part of this community, and we're part of the Great Spirit's plan. No matter what anyone thinks, everything, as you said, everything is part of the plan." So we're going to help because we want to make it better. And we know something else that you may not know. And I'm going to tell them about how when they went out, I mean, I'm going to let it all out
Right.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay.
because they know everything clearly. And if not, I'm a 9-year-old. I don't have any,
You're
I'm
like,
formless.
yeah, and
I'm not
I'm
able
like
to lie
I'm
or
like
anything
trying to
like
stop you from, you know, hand on your
implicating them.
shoulder, pulling on
Right.
your arm as like you started just, and then I'm like giving up as this all comes spilling out.
Yeah. It's like,
Right.
look,
Right.
we found a scroll and we gave it to Brew, and it was a bad thing. And I know it was a bad thing. And he's got the title written down if you want to know what it was, but it's going to take everybody to help make things better. Everybody's going to have to help, and we want to be part of that.
So yeah. So all the adults kind of like look at each other a little bit surprised. Some are surprised. Some are concerned.
And
Some
some
are
are
kind of
like
like
the summoning it. Some of them are like, the ritual's further than you thought it was, kind of thing.
some are like nodding with approval and kind of like looking impressed. Um, and Naomi says, "Well, okay, you're growing up, and you're certainly a part of the community, and we appreciate the work that you've done so far. Thank you for telling us everything. Let's see what we can do to fix it." And so she's obviously including you in the we, and kind of like puts her arm around you and like draws you towards the adults. So
And
she,
I look at
you've
Sloan
made it
like,
there.
yeah, we're in, right? And Sloan's kind of like, I still don't know, Danny. I still don't know, because he's smarter than I am.
Right. Just don't bite anybody. Um,
That's right. I'm gonna try not to bite.
right.
If I sit down near the sheriff and he looks at me, I'll go, Marty was hitting me. I was defending myself against Marty. Because clearly this is weighing on my conscience. When I look at the principal.
Um, and and he says, "Okay, okay." And we talked to people in the neighborhood where the accident was this morning, and people saw what happened, and we understand that you were defending yourself, so you're okay. Don't worry about it.
I'm not a bad kid. My mom says I just don't always make good choices.
Oh my
So
gosh.
um, they they have the different community members still have a lot of questions for you about what you've learned and what you saw and everything, because obviously Brew and Dogger can't come into these meetings, and so they kind of Naomi has been kind of shuttling information back and forth between them,
Sure.
between this group and committee, and so
Because it's too dangerous
they
for her to come into town.
yes, yeah,
Now let's not mention Sheila.
The swimming.
okay,
Okay.
Yeah, let's. I mean, do you want to mention her? Do you want to
right,
drag
because
her into all this? Because she
well,
has. We don't know she has anything to do with this.
No, Danny.
and
Or
Mr. Olson, the mayor, is here.
Okay.
Her father is here,
what the fuck is
so
going on?
um,
So I'm feeling a little
so
awkward
yeah,
mentioning that his daughter swims out there, but
Well, why the hell would it ever? I'm.
maybe we should warn him just because of the sharks that McCormick is feeding. And it's dangerous because I think the sharks are going to be really worked up, and you shouldn't be swimming out there right now because I think McCormick is
Maybe you
chumming
tell
all
them,
over.
you maybe you tell that to him on the side, kind of,
I do. I'll do that because I'm a 9-year-old. Yeah, just like
and
I
I'm
saw your daughter swimming, and I can see why she's captain of the swim team. But I think it's really dangerous to swim at a Seal Rock right now because I think McCormick is feeding great white sharks. I'll tell him that. It's like, I'm just some kid riding his bike, saw the girl swimming, and wow, she was fast, swam out to
Mhm.
the rock. I think it's dangerous, though. You might want to tell your daughter to stay out of the ocean until we figure this out.
the
Yeah.
we, right?
He,
Yeah, like Danny's like now all
yeah.
puffed up, full of himself.
That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah, no shit, totally.
So I'm like I'm confused. I don't understand. And I'm telling Danny to this on the side, while all this hustle and bustle is happening. I don't understand why the town would help McCormick try to find Brew yesterday. Why would I don't that doesn't make any sense. It's like either there are
I
too
think
many
some of them were
there are too
faking
many
it yesterday,
adults
like
here.
we were.
There's too many adults here that are the leaders of the town. Why would they go along with McCormick's demand to find? It doesn't add up.
It
Doesn't
is
add up.
weird, but Naomi wasn't part of that. She didn't go out.
Well, everybody went out. The whole town went out.
Well, that's true. Well, maybe they all went out just to keep an eye on things and make sure Brew was okay. Or maybe they
Well,
didn't
I
know
think
about Brew
right. I think if you remember, I think the timeline was such that you didn't tell Naomi about Brew and take her
until
there
after
until
she
after
came
the town
back.
searched.
That's right,
Right.
because that's when they'd all come
And
back.
you guys were in the hut, and Dob here used some sort of power to hide the hut, and so
Right.
right.
But still, a lot of people seem to be trusting McCormick. But then again, if they know that he's a bad guy, maybe they're just keeping an eye on things and figure if he's interested in this, they better be involved to keep an eye on it. I don't know, man. You're pretty smart, though, Sloan. Grown-ups always have something else going on.
And I'm looking around trying to figure out who's the spy right now in this organization, right? There's like,
Because we think like kids. It's perfect.
yeah,
Mhm. Mhm. Okay.
McCormick's must have his claws into this organization too.
Is my audio doing okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, because for me, both of you have all of a sudden gotten slightly choppy, but
Oh,
that's okay. We can
weird.
keep going.
You're
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Um, so that yeah, so they sit you down. Everyone has lots of questions for you, um, and they kind of they go through your story a couple of times, and people have questions about specific things, and you unless you other than the Sheila piece, um, which as you said you'll tell the mayor when you have a quiet moment, you you'll unless you say otherwise you'll share everything that's happened so far.
Right.
Is that
And the
correct?
Sheila piece, Aaron Sloan is going to watch carefully how the mayor reacts because he's better at reading
Right.
people than I am. I just tell him stuff,
Right.
but he's paying attention to the reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay.
Um, well, the that'll happen in a little bit because right now everyone's you don't have a quiet moment to tell him by himself.
Mm, okay.
Certainly.
Yeah. So as you have your conversation, um, and I'm sure as you well, I don't know. Do you guys ask any of your own questions,
Um,
or do you
I
just
think
have
we should
him?
ask a couple questions.
well, why don't
And
we
they
just
and
go
they
and
say, well,
arrest? Why don't we just go and arrest McCormick? I look at the sheriff.
Yeah. There's got to be a law against whatever he's doing, or he wouldn't be doing it at midnight, right? Stands to reason.
well, the sheriff says that's a very good question. McCormick is obviously not working alone. He himself is working with forces outside the normal understanding, and
Mm.
also as of yet, he's not broken any of our actual laws. He's buying lots of pork. He's um,
Dump it in the ocean.
using
No
it to
law
feed,
against that.
dumping it in the dumping it in the ocean and using it to but he's going far enough out that he's in international waters. So it's not something that we can, and we certainly don't have anyone out there to as a witness to testify against him. So as of yet, there's nothing that he's done that I can arrest him for.
Hmm.
But as you can see, that's why this group exists, because we need to um, address issues outside the normal process.
Danny's looking around the room. This happens a lot, huh? I mean, someone doing something sneaky and bad people wanting to mess with the community. It happens a lot, doesn't it? And I'm looking at all the
Um,
some of the trophies look really, 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 really old. I mean, the statues. Like the Fin Wars. I've never heard of that, and I pay attention in school. I just don't seem like it.
Right. Right. I guess.
I'm have almost completely lost you guys. You're like into evil robot mode. So let me drop, and I'll come back in a minute.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because everybody's fine with
I
me.
hear. Yeah, I'm hearing you clearly. Evil
We
robot
got
mode.
turned into evil robots. Hey, I finished putting windows in the house, so I have another finished building. Yay!
It's like 3 now, isn't it? Or 4?
I've got one residential building and 2 warehouses done. Yeah.
Okay, I'm back.
Hey.
Much better.
Yay!
Now you're not in invader mode. Um,
So I
so
look
I think
around the
I,
room and I say, looking at all the different statues, and sort of little kid wisdom to go away, going, "You guys are all like a group because this happens a lot, doesn't it?" I mean, some of this stuff looks really old, like the Fin Wars. I've never heard of the Fin Wars. I look right at the principal. I know it doesn't seem like it, but I pay attention, and I've never heard of the Fin Wars.
and so uh, the the Salty says yes. This is Salty, the captain that came and got you. Yes, this has been ongoing um, for some time, for a long time, since the Naomi's people were the only people here. The people that we're fighting against, the things we're fighting against, have been coming back um, and trying to make an incursion and for hundreds of years, and we are able to defeat them, and then they lie dormant for a long time, and then they come back. And right now, they're trying to come back again. Um, actually, they've set up a um, a base, for lack of a better word, in the caves, and but there's no direct access to the caves to above ground. It's only deep sea access. And so we actually have them trapped in there now. That's why we're trying to coordinate with Dobher and Brunatha's people as a way to try to keep them trapped in there. And McCormick is working for them. He's um, he's been promised riches and gold, as you saw by the statue. And we had suspected but weren't sure. But now you've proven that he is actually raising great whites and training them um, further out in the ocean. And
My
we're
jaw
expecting
drops.
Trained great
Ah!
whites.
we're expecting that he's going to use them as a force to try to um, break our blockade effectively and um, allow the things that are trapped in there to escape and attack the land.
Hmm.
So the whole purpose of Brew being on land was for her and us, and with her help, Dov here, to discuss and negotiate a plan. But she he was able to steal her pelt, and she's trapped now. She can't come into town because obviously it's not safe. We don't want to send a big party out there because we don't want to lead her lead the McCormick to her, or adopt her. And so um, Naomi and her father and her people have been helping as go-betweens between us and them.
Hmm.
So um, that's the situation as it stands. And
So
um,
these things that are trapped in the cave and the whole other side they're part of, I just think of them obviously as the bad guys.
mhm.
Are they why people disappear around here?
Yes, yeah, they're
I,
able to come.
Danny looks at Sloan and they mouth, "It's all true."
um, so the so they start talking amongst themselves. We're not, I mean, as a group. And so after this big conference session, they kind of break up for a little bit. They take a break. They bring in down some coffee. They have some snacks, and at this moment is you kind of see this would be a good time for you to approach the mayor.
All the more
And,
important because they've verified that there's great whites.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sloan, we got to tell the mayor. Maybe he doesn't know his daughter swims in the ocean, or maybe he just doesn't realize how dangerous it is. But we got to warn him to keep her safe.
Okay, I'll go with you, but I'm not going to talk.
All right,
My shaggy
routine
black
insecurity.
bangs
Yeah,
falling in front of my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
that's
Okay.
right. I know enough to know that I'm going to make my friend look good. Mr. Mayor, um,
Yes, Danny.
Sloan and I were talking, and we ride our bikes a lot, and been riding my bike down in the mornings to buy fish for Dobbs. When the boats come in, and I noticed your daughter. She's an awesome swimmer because she trains in the ocean. I've never seen anyone swim as fast as I've seen her swim out to Seal Rock. But you're telling me about great whites and all this stuff we've heard is true. I think you better tell her not to go out in the ocean until we get this figured out because those sharks are going to eat her up no matter how fast she swims.
Hmm.
And um, at first, as you're telling him this, he looks shocked and worried, and then he kind of like his shoulders sag and his head kind of droops a little bit, and he sighs. Damn it,
My daughter's a
Sheila.
my daughter's a kelpie. Sorry.
Um, he said, I told her not to do that anymore. It's not safe right now. You're right. I thought she had stopped. Thank you. I thought she had stopped. I thank you for telling me. I'll talk to her and try to make sure she stays out of the ocean until this is resolved.
But why would she swim out there in the first place? I blurt out.
And he says, "Well, that's a story for another time." So uh, he moves on to talk to one of the other adults, and um, he so unless is there anyone else you want to talk to here? I mean, there's all the different leaders effectively from the town.
No, I think I'm out of
Um,
trouble with the principal. We've warned the mayor and got a little information that yeah, this is something she does, and
mhm,
he's even aware of it. So that's something.
mhm.
What do you need to know, Aaron? I think I got everything I needed.
No, I think it's good. I think
Okay.
it's good.
So they kind of, after about a 15-minute break or so, they kind of call everybody back together, and they start talking about plans, what they're going to do. And so I'm gonna go get something to drink.
Mm.
And while I'm gone, you guys talk and think about what now that you're part of this community, what can you offer as a way to help, or um, what it is that you're wanting to contribute to this discussion. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Okay. I think we need to. I think we need to tell Sheila because she's not going to listen to her dad,
Well, she clearly hasn't listened to her dad yet. I do think we
and
need to
she
talk to
must
her
be
and
doing
the kid.
something. She must have some. There must be something else going on if she's
Because she was looking for something, and we didn't tell her dad that.
right.
And we didn't tell her that. We knew she was looking for something.
Right, right. Okay. I think
I
that's
think
what
we
we
should
should
just
do.
go be concerned. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. We
I
should
mean,
go.
I'm sure the adults aren't going to think that there's anything we can do to.
Well, I think we should offer to be eyes and ears like we've been doing because kids have a way of hanging around in places that people don't notice us or they'll talk in front of us. And but the other problem we have now is McCormick's men know who we are.
Right.
So we do need to know where we can go and where we can stay because we can't go to your house, can't go to my house, and I've got visitors in the fort.
Yeah.
We can go camping. We're good at it. I just get tired of it because right now outside here at Alamo, it looks like the Pacific Northwest.
I know. I woke up to
Gray
that
and
this
wet.
morning too.
Yeah, I was like, oh, well, it fits the role playing game.
Yeah. But that just means, we have like wool uh, Pendletons and stuff. And
Oh yeah, you got your long underwear. Then I got my ACDC T-shirt over my long underwear, and then I got a Pendleton flannel over that, which sometimes I tie around my waist when it's hot.
yeah, when you get too warm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm not wearing Vans because we're not cool enough in this town yet to have.
Converse,
Well, because 19 what was it 1980?
79.
We're in 1979, but it was 1980, 1981 was Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and that's when Vans took over the world and the word dude appeared in everybody's
Vocabulary.
vocabulary. Yeah, it didn't exist before that movie.
Really?
But yeah, totally. But just yeah, it existed, but nobody said it to the extent they do now, and it just took off. And now everything's dude. And I can't say it was all Fast Times at Ridgemont High, but I could certainly chart among the people I knew and in Carson City, Nevada, when certain words hit a lexicon.
Yeah, and it's so weird, I mean, I grew up here in California, right? So,
Right. So that was just the way people talked.
well, and I mean, the kind of like the center of that romance culture of the 80s, like
Yeah.
the beach and SoCal and
In the mall.
the mall and the whatever. But I always forget that you were in Nevada City growing up, so or in
Carson
Germany,
City,
or in
Nevada.
Germany, or in
Yeah.
Germany, right? So,
Yeah. Germany is a very little kid.
right.
That was in the 60s, and we came back in 70.
And then,
Then it was Florida,
oh, I didn't
and
know
then it
you
was
lived in
Carson City,
Florida.
Nevada. Yeah, Dad got his PhD in Gainesville, Florida, and then worked in Tallahassee for the legislature for a while before we moved to Nevada when I was in fourth grade. And from fourth grade through high school, I lived in Nevada.
Huh, I didn't know that you live. What part of Florida?
Gainesville, Florida for his PhD. That must
Was
have been
is
2
that on the
years.
coast anywhere, or is there inland parts of Florida? I guess there's inland
Uh,
parts of Florida.
yeah, Gainesville is, if I'm not mistaken, it is on the coast. That's where the University of Florida is.
Hmm,
And then we live in Tallahassee, which is, of course, the state capital, which is, if you look at Florida, it looks like an upside down L, and Tallahassee is just inland right at the bend of the L.
right.
And so we lived there for a couple of years.
Huh,
And then Dad got the position as head of research in the legislature.
huh.
I thought your dad was in the Air Force.
Oh, he was when we were in Germany, and then he went reservist. Didn't retire all the way out.
Okay.
Went reservist, and he was reservist forever. So he'd go back 2 weeks a year to the Pentagon and do duty there. And his mom and dad lived in Hyattsville, Maryland, so he would just stay with them, and he used that as an opportunity to see them every year. And he would take me or my sister alternating years, who he would bring back with him to D.C.
Huh.
to visit family. And when I was older, I got to go down to the Hirshhorn, the Smithsonian museums on my own. That was, a big sign I was growing up when I could get on the metro.
By
Grandma would
yourself?
drop me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Wow.
was huge. I just remember that was a monster day for me. Everything kind of changed. You know how there's those moments when you're a kid and you're a little less of a kid afterwards,
Yeah, because now
and
suddenly
you're
you
and
have
you're aware of it. Right.
suddenly you have freedom, right?
a freedom and
And it's just
something that
like,
you didn't, something you just always assumed an adult would take care of. You have now taken care of. You bought the metro ticket. You ran it through the system.
You
You
decided
got
what
on the right
station to get
train.
on and off of, yeah.
Right, right. You decided when you were going to eat lunch and where you're going to eat it and where you were going to go, and that's huge. And granted, you were in a safe place. I wouldn't do that with a sixth grader now, in the mall by themselves. But in the '70s, that was perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
kind of just
But
like how Danny and Sloan are
yeah, yeah,
reaching the
very,
adult point.
very latchkey. Very latchkey.
Yep.
But that was just yeah, and then by the time I was in fifth grade, mom was back at work full time, and so where we lived in Carson City was up in the hills.
Was your
We lived
dad
like on an
back at the
acre.
Air Force in Nevada or what?
He was still a reservist, so he would go back once a year for 2 weeks to the Pentagon, and he also was chief liaison officer for the Air Force Academy in Nevada. So if you were in northern Nevada and parts of California and you wanted to go to the Air Force Academy, you would go interview with my father,
Hmm.
and that was like one of the first steps. Whereas with me, when I did interview, he just looked at me and goes, "You're not interested in the academy, are you?" I said, "No, I don't really think I am." He goes, "Good, you'd never make it."
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
Exactly. I go, "You mean I couldn't?" He says, I said, "You don't think I can get in?" He goes, "Well, maybe, but you definitely wouldn't graduate." It's
Wow.
like, I'm a junior in high school when we're having this conversation. Granted, I'm a junior in high school who got like 1,500 on his SATs,
Wow.
but I was so immature. I know, hard to believe. So
Kind
yeah,
of
he
like
was a
Danny.
reservist. Exactly. He was a reservist for a long time, and then he was
But his 9 to 5 was with the academy is,
well. His 9 to 5 was with the state legislature of Nevada,
oh,
and he just did reservist. He just did part time stuff for the Air Force.
okay.
So 2 weeks every year he would go back and serve full time in the Pentagon, and just one of the extra things he did um, would be to check his mail and to keep a file of kids who are applying to the academy and make sure that was all followed through. So
Right.
it was just one more extra duty, but it was a part-time thing.
Right. Something that a
And he,
computer does today, but
like,
people needed to do
yeah, and
then.
you still have a liaison officer after the computers filtered everyone out that you have to meet with, which that's what he did. And because one of his jobs was to help a kid go, hey, you know what? Maybe you don't want to be in the academy. Maybe you should think about an ROTC program. Or hey, you know what? The academy is perfect for you, but you might think about this avenue.
Mm, right. Because
But
he knew
so
that
he
he
wrote a
knew
lot of
that
letters.
world, I guess.
He
Yeah.
did, yeah. And being high up in the state government, working for governors in the state legislature, he was in line to run the state legislature. When he went to the other applicant, my dad became chief of staff of the governor. Um,
Hmm.
and then moved to California, did other stuff. But he knew a lot of people in government
Hmm.
and moved in some pretty high circles, from what I understand, looking back.
Hmm. Yeah.
So this week on Peter Talk,
Yeah, sorry, don't know how we got on that ridiculous tangent.
Well, I mean, I, that's interesting. I didn't know that you spent some time growing up in Florida. That's why you're so fucked up.
That's it.
Florida
That's
and
just
Germany. It's where all the fucked up stuff in the world comes from.
that's right. Yeah, we lived in Bavaria, which is the Texas of Germany. So
Right. There used to be
so
this radio talk show that I would listen to, and they would do some weird, off the wall, bizarre story, and then the question would be, is it from Florida or Germany?
that's
So
great.
so
anyway,
um,
I think we have a
the
plan.
okay.
Nils, while you went away, we want to go talk to Sheila because
Kid to kid.
she hasn't been listening to her dad,
Hmm.
and there's no
Maybe
reason
she
why she
doesn't
would
understand.
there's no reason why she would listen to her dad again if he told her not to swim out to the Seal Rock. And we need
Right. Right.
and Sloane's practically in a panic, that she's going to get eaten by a shark, and
Yeah.
Hmm.
maybe she
With Danny
knows
being a
Right.
maybe she knows something else is really going on, something
Hmm.
that only that the kids would know that the adults wouldn't understand.
Hmm.
and,
Hmm.
and
Okay.
and Danny's already approached her at the beach once, and his attitude is like, well, I think she's doing more than swimming because we saw her just sitting out there and looking for something.
Mm-hmm.
So, you
Right,
know, if the adults don't need us for something and we have to keep kind of a low key anyway, maybe we can help her find what she's looking for because we're good at finding stuff.
right.
Right.
We find all kinds of stuff. You can ask. That's why yeah. We can't
Okay.
tell her about knowing her dad. We could just go out because she may not know what's going on as far as her dad and his group. So we should just
Mm-hmm.
go with we're
Okay.
worried because we know now. We know.
Mm-hmm. Right. You're in the know. So the conversation goes on. Um, they're after your statements, you know they allow you to sit down with them and kind of and listen. And um, Naomi kind of looks at you a couple of times to see if you have anything to contribute or any ideas. Um, uh, is there anything that other than your idea with Sheila? Is there anything else you wanted to participate in the discussion in?
I don't think so. Do we have
Okay.
anything else to add, Aaron? I think we.
I want to know why the rest of the world doesn't know about the shark people in the caves.
Yeah, it seems like something the U.S. Army or Navy should be doing.
Yeah, why don't we call in the Navy? Call the Navy.
Um, well, uh, one of the um, one of the actual veterans, somebody that you knew actually served. Let's see, 1979, served in Vietnam. Actually, Vietnam was going on at that time, wasn't it? Served in Korea.
What was the big naval
79,
battle?
79 is done.
Yeah, what was the big naval battle in Vietnam?
Well, the real one,
Yeah,
it didn't actually happen.
but
Well,
it was a
Tonkin Gulf didn't happen.
Tonkin
Well,
Gulf.
yeah, Tonkin Gulf, it was just a couple of small boats firing light artillery at a ship. Nothing really happened, and it was blown up into something far more.
Right. Um, so anyway, one of the veterans says, "Well, that happened back in 1928 in Massachusetts, or in Rhode Island, and the Navy came in and basically effectively blew up the town. It was almost the same kind of thing. There were caves underneath the town. The Navy came in and tried to clear the people out, the fish people out, and it didn't go well. So we're trying to handle this ourselves, and we've been able to so far, so we don't have to have something horrible happen to the
Huh.
whole town."
That makes sense. It's like Shadow over Innsmouth when they called in the subs and they fired torpedoes at the reef.
How do you know about that? Says somebody.
No, Danny actually doesn't. He hasn't read H.P. Lovecraft yet.
There's H.P. Lovecraft. Who's that? There's no H.P. Lovecraft in this world.
He's a historian here.
So
Story.
exactly. He started the Weekly World News. Um, so yeah, so there's a lot of discussion going on. There's a lot of kind of back and forth. How they some people are wanting to do a direct assault. Some people are wanting to just be defensive. And there's hold on, guys. Oh, you need me, Grace, or you looking for someone? No, I'm looking for Mom's melody. Okay, never mind. There we go. Close the door on the way out, please. So, and if you want to, um, you can just, while the conversation is going on, you can just kind of excuse yourself and go.
Let's do that. Go talk to Sheila.
Yeah. This is my big
So,
chance. This is my big chance to really get to know her, or
And let her know
so
that
she
you're a
could get
really
to know
sensitive,
me.
caring guy.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
um, so they talk, for a while longer, and then they take another break, and it's during that time that you kind of slip out and head out. So um, now the VFW building is downtown, and it's not that far from McCormick's boat.
Uh-oh.
You were brought here to keep you safe, and so the implication kind of was that they were expecting that you would stay in the building and out of sight.
Mm.
So
Oh, I see. So we can't really take them.
Well, we
well, you
can. We just
can,
have to be sneaky about it,
Yeah.
and we
right,
have to be careful.
which means rolls, right, rolling for it. So not
How far
necessarily to
away is the
sneak.
mayor's house?
Um, see. Let's say uh, roll. Peter, roll a die and pick high or low before you roll the die.
Picking high.
Okay.
Nope, it's low. It's
No.
a
Okay.
long
So,
way away.
well, no, it's not. It's not necessarily a long way away, but you do have to pass. Basically, ride down the same street that you rode down this morning.
And we
Is
don't have our
where
bikes
McCormick's. Right. You're right. You don't. You don't. Well, right. You don't have bikes because
because we
you
were
don't
driven here
have
in a
the.
truck, and I assume he didn't bring our bikes with us.
Correct. Yeah, there wasn't the expectation that you'd be riding your bikes around.
We might have to
Um,
sneak out at night.
Let's check Captain Jones's truck. Maybe he left the keys in it. We could take his truck.
Wow, you know how to drive.
uh,
Cool.
Well, I could probably, I've watched
Figure
adults
it
do
out.
it.
okay. There's
Famous
nothing in this
last words.
it can go wrong.
No.
Okay. So while
Play
those
it
are
like a
playing,
kid. Totally. That's total kid logic right there.
Right.
you go upstairs, excuse yourselves to go upstairs to use the bathroom, and then you sneak out the back, and there's the truck. Um, uh,
We're just gonna check it out. I
sure,
mean,
let's
maybe
say,
let's see if the
yeah.
keys are in there. I mean,
The keys aren't in the ignition, but
like above the visor, the sun
right,
visor, right?
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Or
You
under
look
the
around a little bit, and
or under the
Or on
or
the
under the
floorboards. That's where my dad
under
would
the
always throw
floorboard.
his
Yeah.
keys for his truck.
yeah. So it's actually in like a cigarette back when they actually had cigarette,
Yeah.
Oh,
And the
ashtrays.
ashtrays,
Yeah,
which
pull
is
out
now a
ashtrays.
charging. Yeah, which is now a charging port.
Right.
right.
So yeah, the keys are there.
Okay, cool. Let's take the truck. Come on, Danny. I got this.
Oh, cool.
We gotta
I'm jumping in.
we gotta make sure Sheila doesn't get back in the water.
Yeah, because she went out at dawn. She'll go out at dusk.
So Dan or Sloan, have you actually ever driven a car before?
Um,
And if so, explain how and why
well,
and how frequently.
I, I don't know if this ever happened when you were a kid, but my dad would let me sit on his lap and steer while he worked the pedals. And,
Hmm. Yeah.
this is
That definitely
it's
never
a
happened
column
at my
shifter. I know how I see the adults using that already. I'm 13.
Hmm.
It's only 3 years until I start driving, so
2 years. 15's when you start.
right. And I mean, it's a rural town, so
You might have some
eh,
experience.
not a lot, but enough that I know I feel like comfortable that I could steer the vehicle. The other stuff is
We
maybe
got a couple of
Right.
VFW baseball caps on too, and pulled down low. So
oh right, but what we sit like how
yeah, we're
much
little.
lower
Well,
in
I'm
the
little.
in the cab. I love this
Um,
plan.
okay. Okay. So let's see. Let's make you do a brains roll of difficulty of 8
Huh.
to safely get it out of, get it because he pulled up behind the truck behind the
It's like
building.
parked
So
in
you have
the
to get
it's parked in the back lot there, and it might be a little difficult to get
right.
out.
Yeah. So you're gonna have to
Fuck. It's like back and back and it's like trying to back and fill out of this, and I've made it stuck
Back
even
row.
worse.
That's right.
well you do have adversity tokens
I don't have enough.
that you can use.
I don't have enough.
You
But I
just
did
need
get
one.
another one.
Yeah.
Danny can help.
I can help.
If he
What can I
wants
do?
to, he can help. He can either maybe help get out and direct you, or actually, Danny
Oh,
would need to narrate exactly what he does to help you. If you're wanting to spend the adversity tokens to be able to get out of the parking lot.
here, I'll get out. I can
But
help my mom. Here, I'm gonna stand over here where you can just see me, and I'll tell you how close you are to the car behind you.
okay. Does he have to spend adversity tokens?
You have Sloan has 3, and so you missed by 4. So he
Right.
would have
Oh,
to spend. Danny would have to
oh,
spend
hell
3.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
happily.
And he can just spend his tokens to do that. Damn, I was kind of saving those up,
Yes.
but that's cool.
Okay.
All right, good. We got
I'm
the
sitting
truck
up because
out.
I had some failed rolls there. So how many do you need from me?
Just one.
Okay. Gotta get my character sheet out here. Boom. All right. I don't know. I feel pretty good that there's some grown-ups who know what's going on and they're doing something. I just wish they'd let us do more.
Well, you were there to
They were, and I'm happy about that. So Danny's riding pretty high. I just don't think the mayor understand. I don't think the mayor's daughter understands how serious this is.
right. Okay. So you were able to get out of the parking lot, and it's a pretty straight shot to the mayor's house. Um, it's a small enough community, so you kind of know where everybody lives, at least the general area.
Well, and
Um,
the mayor's house
and
is
once
the
you,
best house in town. I mean,
true,
Yeah.
he's
yeah,
he's
yeah. So
probably the
everybody knows where the mayor lives.
yeah.
By the way, I have an unlit
Um,
cigarette in my mouth just so I can look like a grown up and fool somebody.
Yeah,
Is
but
it
what you don't
nine?
realize is that nobody can see it over the truck door because you're so short.
All I can see is the top of my baseball.
Right.
This is like an American Tourister, right? That was it. The old, big old truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, curved front and all that. Yeah,
So you've gotten an okay sense of Sloan, of working the pedals and the shifter and things like that. So at this point, all you need to do is just kind of like drive and not run into something. So I'm going to have you make another difficulty check of 4, again with brains, to make it the rest of the way.
and I'm helping watch, and I'm looking in the right-hand rear
Hmm.
view mirror and watching out to the side
Hmm.
because we don't know if McCormick's men are coming after us, or we know the sheriff won't because he's down in the basement.
Right, right. So so yeah, you got this thing down. You know exactly what you're doing. You're able to you use the turn signal. You appropriately stop at
it's
stop
just the
signs.
it's just
Um,
the parking that's a bitch.
right. Yeah,
All
but
those little turns are confusing.
Right, the
well,
backing
luckily
up part and which way you turn the wheel kind of thing. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
the mayor's house is big enough that it's got a big front yard, and so all you have to do is basically kind of like pull up in front and then brake, and
Yeah.
We're
you're
there.
there. So yeah. So um, so you're there. You've made it out in front of the mayor's house.
Now we can't tell her about the secret society because she may not know that her dad's part of this. But
We need
she
to tell
knows
her.
that
We need to tell her
I know.
everything.
But she knows that I know she was swimming. I don't know if she saw you up on the hill or not, but I think
Yeah,
she
she
knows.
saw she saw me forlornly up there silhouetted on the edge of the
Yeah,
bluff,
keeping an eye on your friend.
all in black.
That's it. Looking dramatic.
The hair blowing in the wind to the
That's
left.
it. You hang out with that weird little kid who wears a Death Dealer T-shirt all the time.
Right. ACDC or Death Dealer.
Right. Right.
Wasn't that a Nazareth album cover?
Uh, ACD.
Or Black
Probably.
Sabbath? I think it might have been.
Molly Hatchet, wasn't it?
Might have, yeah, I'm gonna have to look this up now.
I think so. So you're out in front of the.
They had
The
all.
mayor's house.
Yeah, I
Yep.
guess they had a big theme, I guess, of Vikings and Death
Molly
Dealer.
Hatchet. It
Yeah.
was totally Molly
Yep.
Hatchet.
Yep.
So I have a
So
Molly Hatchet Death Dealer T-shirt.
Oh
yep.
man, so cool. I don't even
So
know Molly
you're out in front of the
Hatchet.
house. What's
Yeah.
what's your plan at this point?
We're gonna go knock on the door and talk to Sheila.
Hmm.
Okay.
Because now I finally have this is my real chance about why I
You,
should be
well,
talking to her.
you have a purpose
Why
because you're
Yeah, exactly.
she has to listen to me now.
and you don't want to. You're not the kind of kid who's just gonna make small talk.
Right.
Right. So you knock on the door, and you also know that uh, Sheila's mom hasn't been around for as long as you've known. So
Wow.
there's not, you don't know what happened or what anything, but um, she's never had a mom as part of her family. So we knock on the door. Um, her older brother, what was the name we gave him?
Oh yeah, we
Um,
did give him a name. Hang on a second. It's
Artie Olson.
Marty
Artie.
Artie. Yeah.
Artie.
Yeah, 'cause it's not the bully. It's not the same house.
No, no, that's Marty. Yeah. So Artie answers the door. And he kind of looks around and says, "You're kind of young for wanting IDs. What do you want here?"
Hey, is your sister home?
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're in her class, aren't you?
I
He is.
kind of shrugged my shoulders. Yeah.
He's talking to Sloan. Yeah. He said, "Okay, hold on." And so he kind of like yells into the house, "Sheila, someone's here to see you," and just leaves the door open and walks off like inconsiderate teenager, because he's in high school. He's an
Sure.
older kid. Um, so Sheila comes downstairs. It's kind of one of those houses where there's an entryway with stairs going up on one side, and the other half like walks through the back of the house.
Yes.
So she comes down the entryway stairs and kind of like starts walking down and sees you guys and kind of stops and looks a little bit surprised.
She pauses for a moment and she's framed in that light from that window above the door, and Sloan is just struck at the intensity of blue of her eyes. Sorry. Just thinking the Spielberg moment there.
Yeah, getting where he can. So she comes back down and says, comes downstairs and says, "Hi, Sloan."
Hey, hey Sheila. We really got to talk to you. I really got to talk. I mean, yeah.
It's kind of important.
I gotta look at Danny, hoping that he'll rescue me from this.
Yeah, it's kind of important. We don't want you to think we're telling you what to do or nothing, but well, Sloan's a lot smarter than I am. He pointed some things out, and he's really worried because, I saw you swimming this morning.
There's
We
shark
heard you
people in the
getting
ocean. They're gonna eat you.
He's right. There's a bunch of sharks
And
there,
your dad knows all about it, and I don't know why he's not helping you.
and we know McCormick's been feeding pork to sharks, and we think
And
it's
then there's
really
a war with the seal people.
yeah, and we think it's really dangerous that you shouldn't be swimming out in the
And look at
ocean.
these drawings.
What was?
And I'm just
What was the
trying to
last one?
nod. Look at these drawings.
Oh, look at these drawings. Okay.
And there's like,
Oh my God.
there's
Okay.
like, like trying to flip to the page with the Dobbs
Mhm.
and whatever. And then there's a drawing of Sheila, and then trying to flip to the inscription. And then there's like a sketch of Sheila's profile and blah, blah, blah.
But he flips by as quick as he can,
Yeah,
but
I
he
mean,
can't
what that
see.
shit?
Oh, no, nothing. And I say, I guess what Sloan's trying to say is there's a lot of stuff going on
We
right
care
now.
about you.
Yeah, we're really worried about you. And I missed that completely because I'm 9. I get really worried. And you shouldn't be in the ocean right now. It's just really bad. And can I say something without being offensive? You look like you were looking for something. I'm good at finding stuff, so if you want me to help you find something, let me know. I'll help you find stuff.
And so
Anyway,
she's just like this like
this
while this is going on, and this
this
sudden
wall of noise back and forth between these two
Like,
exactly.
yeah, and Danny's like super like calm, cool, and collected, and like very matter of fact, and Sloane is just,
but 9.
but 9, yeah,
Mhm.
and Sloane is just like kind of the bubbling mess.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. So she at first kind of like looks looks at you kind of like like ah, come on. And then as you started talking about swimming out to the ocean and sharks, she she doesn't look too worried. And then you start sharing. Someone does his memory
Sure.
dumps,
Yeah, it's right. That
Yeah.
was
and then
so
she
well done.
starts getting worried and confused. And then Danny says the thing about looking for something and trying to find it, and she just like she starts to she starts like almost looking overwhelmed and starts tearing up and
Look, all we're trying to say is, whatever's going on, we're your friends, and if you need something, we'll help you. All right. So just whatever it is you're worried about, don't worry, because we're your friends. That's all we wanted you to know. Because well,
Well,
we
that was
care
all you
about
wanted
you.
to know. You could have said that without dumping on it like that.
No, Danny just sees her starting to cry, and he's like, "Wait, wait," because he doesn't know how
Right,
to respond. He just sees a girl crying.
right,
So I must have
right,
said something wrong.
Mm.
right.
I must have said
Um,
something wrong. I'm the kid.
And I'm like trying to reach out my hand to comfort her, but I can't quite bring myself to put my hand on her shoulder.
mhm.
Yeah.
So she she kind of blurts out, says, "I'm just trying to. I just want to see her again. I'm just trying to find her." And then she like goes into full bawling mode and runs upstairs. And Artie, after a few, you both kind of stand there stunned for a minute, and Artie hears this and like comes back out from the back of the house and says, "What'd you do to my sister? Why'd you, what's going on? Why'd you make her cry?"
Take 3 steps backwards. We didn't do anything. We didn't do anything. We just told her not to swim out to the rock anymore.
And he looks at you, um, like quite aggressively and says, "What do you know about that?"
Nothing. We don't know anything about it. We just saw her swimming out to the rock this morning. Was it this morning or yesterday morning?
Yeah, this morning.
And we know there's sharks out there. She's gonna get hurt.
You just realized
We
I've been
don't
on
want
mute
her to
this whole
get
time.
hurt. What's that?
I've been on mute. I've been
Oh,
inputting and went, oh, interesting. I'm gonna mute. So yeah, it's like nothing. We just saw her swim. It's dangerous out there.
yeah.
We're just trying to
So he says,
help.
And the sharks, they're sharks.
Yeah, there's sharks.
"Well, just leave us alone." And he slams the door.
Duh. Well, that went well.
I wonder who she's looking for.
Gosh, I can't wait to see her tomorrow.
You think she's looking for her mom?
I guess so.
Why,
That seems,
why would her mom be out there on Seal Rock?
no.
Hey,
Let's see if we can find her bedroom window and like throw a rock up there. Pebble. Like they do in the movies. Danny's, come
Right,
on.
right.
I know right
Yeah,
where her
yeah.
bedroom window is around to the back of the house.
yeah, sure.
How would Sloan know where her bedroom
He
window is?
doesn't. He just thinks he does.
Okay, you're not going to stand out there with a boom box and like holding it up over your head.
No,
Um,
that's
okay,
for this. That's for the sequel.
okay,
That's the ending. That's the ending. What song
right,
was playing? Was that "Don't You Forget About Me"? No, that's Breakfast Club.
Yeah,
right.
What was the
So okay,
boombox
so
playing?
you well
some kind of wonderful, right? That's the movie.
she had run upstairs, so you know it's going to be on the second floor, as you kind of implied.
And she
Um,
headed towards the left.
right. The house has is has fences on either side, fenced in yard. So um, unless the only way you're able to there's a chance that her bedroom might face the front of the house, or if it's facing the back of the house, then you're going to have to actually go into the backyard. So Aaron, roll a die and pick high or low. And
I'm
just
just,
before you roll.
yeah. Instead of going into the backyard, I'm just going to use the window that I think it is that's on the side of the house.
Okay. Okay.
And if that works, it works.
Because we don't want to trespass because we're kids.
Right.
So here's the die roll to see if it's the right window. I'll choose low
Okay.
and
Okay.
lowish.
Nice.
So, um, and
Luck of a
you're like
13-year-old boy.
smitten 13-year-old boy.
Oh
Um,
yeah, that's the worst.
so you are like trying to find a small rock and throw it against the window or something like that?
Yeah, like a pebble.
Right. Okay. So you're able to do that, um, and nothing happens.
I'll keep it up for a few minutes, because sometimes this takes
Okay.
time, right?
It's
Right.
the repeated sound that gets the attention.
Right.
Right. So after like 3 or 4 times, you see her at the window,
I'm in
looking
the
down
truck
at you and
I'm
looking
in the truck by the way. This is Sloane's thing.
at. Okay, great. You're not going to do a Cyrano de Bergerac?
He doesn't need me.
Oh, you don't know
I'm
that,
convinced
Danny.
Sloane. Do you want it, Danny? There?
No,
Otherwise, Danny.
that's fine.
No, it
No, it's okay.
seems
Okay.
like this is a
So
thing he'd step away and like, no, I got to do this.
right. Okay. So she like looks confused and is kind of like sniffling and like wipes her eyes and looks confused and opens the window and says, "Sloan, what do you want?"
I just got to tell you to watch out for McCormick. He's the one that's behind everything. And I'm telling you, Sheila, you can't go swimming out there right now. There's a war coming.
You sound like my dad.
Uh, uh, no, I'm not your dad. I'm not your dad. But he did tell us about the war.
War? We just finished the war.
No, no, no,
Vietnam War is over.
not that war, not that war. It's a bigger war.
Bigger war?
Just stay out of the ocean.
Just, yeah, stay out of the ocean. We, I can tell you everything, but, you
Not now.
but I'm like looking up at this conversation that we're having 2 stories apart.
Hmm. Right. Okay. So she says, she just kind of says, "Okay, thanks," and closes the window and then
Fuck,
walks away from
fuck,
the window.
fuck. I'm such an idiot. I'm such an idiot. Smack, smack, smack.
Meanwhile, Danny's like, wow, he handled that really well. He's a cool guy.
What are we going to do with the truck, Danny?
Well, I say we drive it back. We got to go back.
Yeah, we should bring it back. You're right.
Okay. So,
Besides, it's easy to get out of this parking area.
so they, so yeah, you're able to get get it going, start it up, and it is pretty easy. They've got pretty wide streets. You can go up to the next intersection and turn around in the intersection without having to do like a 3-point turn.
Right. Just
Um,
like a big wide
and
residential.
yeah, right. Um, and then you're able to. So as you're driving back, um, once you get back to the VFW, what are you going to do with the truck? Are you going to try to repark it in the parking lot where it was, or what?
Sort of
Um,
like it
just
was.
yeah, I mean, like
Okay.
kind of like even just blocking other cars or whatever, it doesn't really
It's
matter.
Right.
Just
best we
like
can do.
get it back in there.
Right. 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 Okay. So you're able to get back to the building without any roll, and you've gotten kind of the hang of it a bit. It's still going to be difficult to park because of just as you said, the ins and outs of navigating a small space. Um, so go ahead and make another brains roll, a difficulty of 6.
Okay. I kind of like just want to leave it in the parking lot. Like just pull it in
Oh, I
and
see.
leave
So
it.
you're just going to pull in and not even try to park it. You're
Right,
just going to park it in the
exactly.
normal parking lot. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Then that's fine.
And then
You
put the
don't need
keys
to roll for
back where we found put the hat back, like try
Yep.
like we weren't even in here
that.
kind of
Nope.
situation.
Put the
And then
cigarette
sit
back.
down.
But
And then
clearly
sit
the
down
whole
in the.
truck was moved.
Exactly.
Mhm.
But we're gonna go sit down in the kitchen with some saltine crackers
Yeah,
and a
find something to
and
eat
Mhm.
now.
and some cocoa and play cards.
Right,
So it looks like
Right.
that's what we've
Right.
been doing
right.
this whole
That's
time.
exactly what we're doing.
No D&D because
Right.
we got our D&D books in our
Right,
backpacks. I
right,
forgot to mention
Mhm.
that those are always in my backpack.
right.
Okay. Of course. Yeah. It's a given.
And
Okay.
they're the
So
the 3 little brown books because those are light.
Yeah,
instead of the
Hmm.
AD&D hardcovers, which are just
Right.
starting to come out now.
exactly.
So you, hi,
I love the fact we're carrying white box D&D.
hold on a second, guys. I'm sorry.
It also makes sense even with AD&D out, we can't necessarily afford the big books because those were expensive.
Right, and they had like that kind of trickled release, right? Wasn't it Player's Handbook first, then
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
because I remember. I think I joined.
Player's
I
Handbook,
started.
Monster Manual, then the DM's Guide came out last.
I think I remember waiting for the DM guide to come out. By only like a few months.
uh,
So, uh, so yeah, you were able to kind of get back into the building and set up, and you're there for about 10 minutes, and then Naomi walks in, says, "Oh, there you guys are. I saw you disappeared. I hope you guys didn't leave because we're wanting to keep you safe from McCormick." Um,
No, we just got hungry and wanted to play D&D.
Okay, so you're playing. Okay,
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
we D&D spread out on one of the prep tables there. You know how
Right,
kids are.
right. Okay,
So it looks like we've been there for for the whole
right,
time.
right,
right.
right. Um, Sorry, I've been requested to cast a TV program for Grace, so I need to, since she's not doing her homework. Um,
It happens.
yeah, too much, unfortunately. Uh, so she says, well, um, we think we've come up with an initial plan, and we need your help.
Cool.
Danny's
Everything
on his
put away in a
feet.
heartbeat. Shook into folders, peachy folders. Totally
Mm-hmm.
peachy folders that we've colored with felt tip markers and drawn stuff on. So my peachy
Like,
folder,
yeah,
all the athletes have swords and shields.
right, right.
Just a second, let me finish what I'm doing here.
No worries. And we're ready to go.
Right. So they take you back downstairs. Um, go on. Okay, here we go.
Okay,
Take you back downstairs.
this player thinks that Brew is her mother. Danny doesn't think that,
Okay.
but Peter does.
Okay.
Or
Oh,
one of Brew's people. She was looking among the seals for her. Who else would she be looking for? She's looking for her mother.
right, right.
That's why she's such a good swimmer. She's seal people.
Ooh, she's half seal people.
Yeah, that's my guess. Sort of like Aquaman. Remember his mom left and he was raised by humans and he's only half human?
Right.
So, um, so everyone. Uh, okay, I think I'm set with that now. Everyone reconvenes downstairs, and everyone's sitting around and says, "Okay, first thing we need to do is get uh, Brunatha her skin back, so she can go back to talk to her people. In order,
Yeah,
that's it's. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, do you guys think it's on the boat? We think it's on the boat.
Yes, I think with your help, we've been able to determine that it is on the boat and probably in the forward berth. But that's going to be obviously really hard to get into with all of his people there. So what we're going to do is create a distraction and hopefully get everyone off the boat. So you and her, the two of you, and um, uh, uh, Captain Salty can get on the boat and try to get her skin. He has the same, Captain Salty has the same um, model boat as, same type of boat as McCormick does. And hopefully
And he
the
has a
key
pair of bolt
lock will be
cutters.
the same. Well, yeah, but they're hoping the key lock, the lock and the key will be the same since it's the same boat model. And
Mm.
so Salty's keys might open up the forward berth, and he's um, small enough that he can get into the boat and with you, since he's not much actually. He's not much actually taller than you, Sloan, um, but much rounder. Um,
Hmm.
so that's the plan to begin with, at least. And then from there, we can then Brunatha can
Her
get back to
people.
her people, and we can move forward with the plans that we have. Um, and so we need your help in order to get onto the boat, and show the and help with getting the sealskin back. Are you willing to do that?
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Um, it's it'll be dangerous, but it's important. So we want you to understand that we will help you, but you'll be in there by on your own with Salty, and if you get caught, we're not quite sure what will happen, but we'll try to protect you as best we can.
We're good at not getting caught.
Um, okay.
Well,
So
Danny thinks he is.
Hmm.
just a second. Sorry.
No worries.
Okay. Well, I have a feeling that Grace is going to be down here in a minute because it looks like because I'm down at the opposite end of the house. I think that trying to catch something from my phone onto her on the TV on the other end is not going to
Maybe
work. And
maybe
so
too far. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, oh well.
So you're
She's
anticipating an interruption in a moment.
yes. So they 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 say, well, from what you've seen um, of McCormick's behavior, when do you think would be the best time to try to do something like this to get on his boat?
Well, he usually goes out at night, right? That's when he went out last night.
Yeah, but
Right.
they usually go and buy all that pork. Because he's got a lot of his crew helping him because he doesn't like lifting stuff.
But why doesn't the mayor or the sheriff like call him into his office and get him off his boat, and then we can go there while he's like distracted dealing with grown-up stuff.
We need to distract his
Right.
whole crew, right?
Right. Yeah. And they, the mayor and the sheriff think
Well,
about it
what
and say,
about the
well,
sheriff? His crewmen tried to get me and Danny, and there were
Well, we
witnesses. There were
could just
witnesses.
right.
could just call him in for further questioning, just to know what else happened with these rough kids.
Why were they chasing
We
us?
could probably get McCormick and the guy that was chasing you in, but there wouldn't be
The whole crew.
the whole crew. So we need to figure out a way to get the whole crew. And I think your idea of trying to do it when they're off buying the pork and most of his crew is there helping him load the pork, that would probably be the best time. They probably will still have someone there, but
Hmm.
it'll be a minimal, maybe 1 or 2 person
They
crew
gotta
left.
drive, and they gotta go drive all the way into. They gotta drive all the way into Reading, because there's no grocery store out here that has that much pork.
Right. Yeah, they have to actually go directly to the feedlot where they have that kind of volume. So
Because they're buying
um,
pork guts.
right, right. So they asked to take a look at the pictures. Well, actually, you've taken pictures, but you don't actually haven't developed them yet.
Right.
So from let's have each of you make a brains roll of 6, and see if you remember just from what you when you were looking at the receipts to see if you could see a pattern of when it was that he was buying it.
Or which
Because you knew
store,
that it bought.
like which store we
Right,
could figure out when it's open, kind of
right,
thing. Okay.
right. Okay. So Danny remembers the store name, and um,
Gosh, we both made it
the
with
and
sixes.
And
yeah, yeah,
Sloan remembers the time on the date on the receipt.
Yeah, the hours of
right.
operation and even the
So
yeah,
Even the
even
date.
so
the phone number of the store,
right.
Yes.
right? So we could like
Well, the sheriff says, "Oh yeah, I know Joe. He's a good friend of mine. I'll give him a call I'll say
Like,
that we're sorry. Go ahead.
delay it a little, delay the purchase a little, so they have to hang around for a while.
Or
We
tell him to come out right now, like, because you got to close early. We're using like all of our D&D skills about
Right.
like how to
Yeah,
plan and
we're just
scheme and
spitballing like a couple of kids.
right.
Yeah.
So the sheriff goes to the office to make a phone call really quickly, and comes back in a few minutes and says, "Yeah, I talked to Joe. He said he did seem like strange that he thought it was strange that McCormick was buying so much pork because that's obviously not something you would use in fishing.
It's
But he
expensive
says he comes
chum.
in about it. Yeah, yeah, exactly. He says he comes in about every 3 days. So he just bought some last night. So he's thinking that maybe, or yet yesterday during the day, and then he's thinking that maybe on Tuesday, um, that would be based on his buying patterns in the past. That's when he would be coming back.
Well, why don't you just get Joe to call him up and tell him that he
A
has
great deal on
he
some
has
pork.
to well yeah he has to close up the shop for a week because he has to go visit his mom in Texas
Or
and
there's a
then if he
problem with the
wants to get his
refrigerator.
order that he has to pick it up early.
Well, Joe's shop is big enough that if Joe left, there'd be other people there to manage that. So
Ah.
it's
This
he's
would never
trying
happen
to
in a
impose.
movie. This would never
Danny
happen in a
throws up his
movie.
hands and he's like, oh, I'm a huff again.
Because we're kids,
Well,
it's
Nobody
all gonna
listens
work
to
like a
us.
movie.
We have good ideas.
and then the sheriff says, "Well, Sloan, that is a good idea. Unfortunately, it just doesn't. Business doesn't work like that. You can't close for that long a time. But we appreciate you coming up with the ideas, and
Dump
we see that you're trying to help. So that's great.
We can do it
It's
Tuesday then, huh?
important. We got to get it off now. We got to get. And now nobody's listening to Sloan, and he's over it.
he'll, he'll be back in a few minutes, but he's got to go through his
Right,
teenage stuff. Yeah, yeah.
right, right. Um,
So Danny's like, so we got to wait till Tuesday?
well, that's one option. Can we? Are there other ideas? That seems the best option so far, because at this
That's,
point, there's
that's when most
too
of the
many
crew's
people
gone.
on the boat. Right. So, um, I mean, we could try it in the middle of the night. Somebody suggests, and the principal kind of glares at him, saying, "These boys have school. They're supposed to be,
But there's a
being ready for
war,
school and doing homework."
says Danny
Um,
from the back of the
right, right.
room, the basement.
So the principal kind of like sighs and says, "Okay," and so they know that the crew members don't sleep on the boat. They have their own homes, so they all go home at night. McCormick, um, they're guessing McCormick will probably be sleeping on the boat because of what the seal skin is there instead of sleeping in a shack. So there may only be McCormick and maybe one or two other people on the boat. So if there's some way that they can get them off, that the middle of the night would be the time that would be the least. They're guessing would be the least amount of people, other than waiting
Yeah.
until Tuesday.
Well, if they're on the boat, I guess the only way to get them off in the middle of the night is something the harbor master does.
There could be
Oh yeah.
we could set a dumpster fire.
Or his shack. There could be a problem at his shack.
We could set his shack on fire.
and and the mayor says now that's getting a little bit far. That could
There's a
that could
war on,
cause
Mr. Mayor, need I remind you?
that could cause that could cause damage to other buildings
you know,
downtown.
but
And
but but if you just lit a fire in the 50-gallon drum in the back area, it'll be lit up and it'll look like his shack's on fire. It won't be, but it'll look like it from his
mm,
boat.
that wouldn't give you much time because there's not a lot of time. It's not his shack is pretty close, and he'd figure out pretty quickly that that's not the case. But
Hmm.
that is an idea. Um, hmm.
What else would he
The
come off
other
the
idea,
boat for? Everything he wants is on the boat.
well, he
Or the sheriff could come get him. I know. We take his gold statue, and the
mhm.
sheriff could come get him, and say there's been a report of breaking and entering. We need you to come tell us if anything's missing.
Okay,
Well,
you're so smart, Danny.
um, okay, that might work, but if there's anyone else on the boat, that's not going to get them off the boat. The
Oh yeah, yeah.
the fire idea is so far. If we're going to want to do it sooner, the fire idea is the best way to get everybody off the boat quickly, but it's not going to give us a lot of time.
No, but the sheriff could always delay him. You know, like, hey, who would do this? I mean, I need to ask you some questions. Well, why is this by your house? Blah blah blah. Just delay him while we're doing what we're
Mm,
doing.
mm. Okay, well, we can give it a try.
And the door,
Um,
and we combine the two ideas. Make it look like we could just hide his statue. We don't need to actually steal anything, but we could just leave the door
mhm,
ajar. So once he
mhm,
does arrive and they discover that it's not a real fire, discover something else has happened. The sheriffs are like, "Hey, it looks like somebody broken in, or
mm,
what's going on here? You need to look in there and tell me if someone stole something. What's going on here?" And so that just
mm.
delays him with official questions while we're doing what we're doing.
Good idea, Danny. That's you're being very helpful. That's a very good idea. So this is let's think about the timing here. So you guys got back to your house pretty early because it was the town was still waking up as you ran away from the McCormick's
Yeah,
men.
yeah,
You were there for maybe a couple hours, um, and
yeah. We had
then
we had name
Captain
brand
Salty.
cereal and Pop Tarts.
Mhm. Yep. And Captain Salty came and got you. And then there was been all these meetings, and you going out to Sloan's house. So let's say it's at least mid afternoon, if getting on towards evening. Um, so
So where are we sleeping? You gonna tell our parents what's going on? Is someone keeping
um,
an eye on our houses?
yeah, someone's been keeping an eye on your house. We have other community members that are auxiliary support for this group. It's not just us, but they're nobody's they're keeping an eye on making sure nobody's causing any trouble, and they will let us know if there's anything's going on. Um, Probably best if you slept here tonight, and that way when we go out tonight to do this, you'll already be here, and we'll we'll work out things with your parents. Um, Danny will or Sloan will let your mom know that um, we'll say that you're doing community service in regards to
The
the incident
biting.
on Friday. Right. We'll tell both of your parents that you're doing that, and that way um, you're that'll give you an excuse uh,
To not
to
be
be
home.
out. Right. And then um, and we'll go from there. So at this point, the meeting kind of breaks up. They make plans. The sheriff and the mayor and the salty talk some more about the specifics of the plan, like how getting a drum there and lighting the fire and the timing and all that. And then they kind of just say, okay, you can stay down here. There's some couches over there you can um, sleep on, and we've got some blankets. We'll bring some food in from one of the restaurants, so you don't have to just eat the saltines and stuff upstairs.
Where's
And
peanut butter? We
everyone
have
kind of everyone breaks up, kind of, and Naomi comes over and you know says to the two of you, says, you guys are growing up. You I can see that you're very responsible and very good members of the community, and we really appreciate your help. And I'm sorry if we weren't as accepting of your abilities before, but um, you're definitely proving yourself now. But please be safe. I would hate to feel that we got you into this and then something happened to the two of you, because um, that D&D game's not going to play itself at the library. So, and after this is over, maybe I could join you and we can you can show me this game, since it seems to be such a big thing for you.
Deal.
All right. So um, everyone leaves, and one of the one of the other um, captains that was there, not Salty, but another one. Small towns know it. The town is small enough that you pretty much know everybody, at
Sure.
least by name.
Sure. Both
And
our
so he's
fathers
going to
have
stay there.
worked on different boats.
Right. He's going to stay there too, just to, so you're not there by yourself, and in case there's anything else going on. And he, um, so time passes. You basically have they're gonna plan for like the middle of the night, like 2 or 3 in the morning, um, to make sure that everything's pretty much dead in the town. So you've got hours. You've got hours before you would normally go to bed, and um, and then you've got
Yeah.
the
But
then
it's
you'll
an
be sleeping. So
insanely busy day too.
yes, exactly. You're already pretty worn out, just if not physically, at least mentally,
Yeah,
from
I
everything you've
figure
done.
I figure Danny sits down on the couch and starts babbling for a minute about he doesn't know what to do. He's so wound up. He'll never get to sleep,
Hmm.
and then he's out.
Right. Um, and actually, as let's see, just a second. Did we give the principal a name? I think we did.
He
I can't
he
remember what it is now.
did. I can't remember what it was
Let's see if I wrote it down.
Um,
because I already had a nickname for him. I remember.
yeah.
Jameson.
Okay. I don't have it recorded, but that's fine. So Sloan, what's the principal's name?
I think it's Jameson, but I don't remember.
Okay.
It is now.
Sure. Yep. Good enough.
Oh no,
Principal
Mr.
Jameson comes over and before he leaves and says, "All right, boys, be careful. This isn't, I'm still your principal, and I'm still worried. I'm still worried about your health safety. But
We don't have to go to school
I
tomorrow,
understand."
right? Says Danny.
What did you say?
I said,
We don't have to go to school tomorrow, right?
Said, "No, you will have to go to school tomorrow, but I'll talk to your teachers and explain that that you've had extenuating circumstances, and that to allow them to have you turn your homework in late,
That's something.
and yeah, hopefully this won't take too long, and you'll still be able to get some sleep before before you go back to school, and it won't be too disruptive." So, um, so before you guys go to sleep, is there anything else you want to discuss or plan, or just collapse?
no, I think we're good.
Okay.
I think we're good too. Yeah.
All right. So
We've
you
been
guys
very busy
collapse on the couch.
boys.
Yes. Very tired boys. Collapse on the couch. You kind of Danny passes out. Sloan um, kind of dozes a little bit, in and out. A few hours later, they bring you guys some dinner, and they they went to one of the restaurants. Um, so it's pretty nice dinner, because these restaurants, as we said, are world famous for their seafood. And so this is like Danny's never had a meal like this before, and um, Sloan has only had a meal like this once before for some very very special occasion with his family. So this was and you almost wonder if this is like they're thinking of this
Is,
as
is
feeding
this our
you your
last
last meal.
meal?
Last
Exactly.
supper.
As I jam it in my mouth.
Right.
Because if it is, that's cool.
Yeah. I need more last meals like this. So they they get you back to sleep, and about 1 o'clock in the morning, they wake you up. They shake you awake. And they say, "Okay, it's time." So we'll do the same thing again. Um, Same kind of thing that you did before, where you come up under the pier in a rowboat. Captain Salty, you'll go onto Captain Salty's boats first. The three of you will get into the rowboat and row under the pier and be under the pier when we start the fire. And then as soon as you can um, hear the people leaving the boat, you guys get on and see if you can get into the forward cabin. Captain Salty will have the keys, and you guys can be lookouts with him in order to keep an eye on what's going on. That's the plan. Do
Okay.
you have any questions?
We can
No,
do this.
it's a good
Mm-hmm.
plan. Yeah.
Okay. So they set all
Is
this up.
Captain Salty bringing a weapon or anything?
Um, no, no,
He probably at least
he's
has a kosh or a knife or something.
well. They're especially worried about your safety, and so they're concerned that if they bring a weapon, then things will escalate.
Gotcha.
So, and it's a
Good
fishing
thing we
boat,
think.
so
Good thing we're smarter than they are. We have weapons
Yeah, right.
right, your
because we're
pike lock
kids.
and your crowbar.
You got a hammer.
And right, oh,
Sloan's got a
right,
freaking
Sloan
hammer.
has a hammer. Right. So um, they yeah. So and then there's also it's a fishing boat. So Salty knows fishing boats well enough that he
Sure.
knows where he can find a weapon around a boat if necessary. So the plan starts. You get into the boat with Salty. Um, you very quietly. He'll do the rowing because has even though he's kind of round, he still has a lot of strength, so he's able to get the boat going easier than you would. And you come onto the pier like you had before, and once you're at the pier, you kind of use the moorings to pull yourself up to the back of the Sally Ann, and then you wait for a few minutes, and you hear some commotion, you hear some running towards the boat, and then you hear um, one of the other captains, actually the captain that had stayed with you, um,
Yelling
in
fire.
yelling fire and like pounding on the side of the boat, um, shouting, "McCormick, McCormick, your shack's on fire!" And um, you hear McCormick jump up, you hear him say something, and you can hear someone else moving around in the boat besides him, and McCormick runs off the boat, and then you can hear the two of them, the other captain and McCormick, running back up the pier towards the shack.
So there's
So
one left on board.
and so Salty says, hands you the keys and says, "I'll take care of the other guy. You get to the forward hold,
I
forward
look at
berth."
Sloan with really big eyes and hand him the keys.
Right, because Danny, if necessary, can take on an adult, but Sloan's
Not
the
necessarily, but Sloan is the older kid. I defer to him. He's
Mhm.
like my captain. We watch
Right,
Star Trek.
right.
I'm like Spock to his Kirk.
Well,
Okay,
captain
so
like captain.
we'll get down to the forward berth just as soon as we can. But I'm not
Hmm.
wor I'm
Okay.
kind of thinking, is it a lot of keys or is it just one key that he gave us?
It's a lot of keys, but he handed you like the one key for the door.
Okay.
That's uh, so just as long as you hold on to that one key, then you'll have that one
Okay. We're, we'll
ready
we'll
ready for the door.
we'll try the
We
key,
all
but I think we're
we
gonna
got the
have to.
hammer
We
and
have
we
the
got the
hammer and
crowbar.
the cat's paw, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you slowly, or Salty will go first, and
Sure.
he starts getting on the boat. He gets on the boat. You're able to get on the boat, and then immediately a scuffle breaks out.
You
So
keep
whoever else was, the other crewman that was on the boat, hears you guys. It's because obviously it's not easy to get on a boat with somebody in the middle of the night with somebody already there.
especially when
Um,
you're suddenly
and
alert because of an emergency.
yeah, right. So
So
there's a
So
scuffle.
Salty's fighting with this guy. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, yeah. They're like kind of like they grapple hold each other and kind of like throwing each other around. Not throwing, but I mean kind of like grabbed onto them, and
I
basically
almost think
just kind of occupy him.
I almost
Right.
think like Danny should go in there and help while I run down to the run down to
Well,
the
Danny's
forward berth
torn because he wants to either help or he thinks it's probably more important
to get the
to
seal
come down and
skin.
cover your ass, and
Okay,
so
let's
while
do
you're
that.
opening things,
Let's yeah, we'll do
yeah.
that. We'll go together and with Danny as my bodyguard.
I got the primer out because if
Okay.
that sailor wins the fight and comes looking for us, because we're hoping he didn't see us, we tried to be,
Right,
Mhm.
right. We
but
kind of
if he
scuttle and
does,
scurry through,
I'm hitting him in the knee.
yeah.
Right.
Nobody's hurting my friend.
Okay,
Right.
I like
Um,
it.
okay. So, and check here. Okay. So you are able to um, salty salty engages the guy. They're kind of rolling around. Um, you're able to kind of like come up on a slightly different part than what he did. So he's like you're kind of away from the fight and able to sneak past him into
Right into the
the
belows.
cabin.
Yeah.
Right. So you're down there, and you've got the key ready. Uh, Sloan, go ahead and roll a die and pick high and low.
Oh, I'll choose high this time.
Okay.
No.
No. So the key does not work.
Okay, I'm gonna smash the handle with my hammer. I
Okay.
assume it's like
So
just a
it takes
regular doorknob, so I'm just gonna like smash it off.
right. Yeah, it takes a couple of whacks, but you're able to get it off, and um, you're able to get the door open. Danny, beyond uh, the beautiful golden seal pelt that you've been looking for, what else do you see in there?
Hmm.
What else do I see in there?
That's of
Well,
note.
a small, very almost black wooden box. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Nondescript, just a little box, but it looks ancient.
Hmm.
It's smaller than a shoebox, about the size of a vertical cigar box.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it
So
and
you, mhm.
it smells as we open the door, it smells like the ocean in the morning after rain, where everything is so clean and the salt just lights up all your senses.
Hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's something emanating from the pelt, I assume. But
Mm-hmm.
when we open the door, it's just we're overwhelmed with this incredible fresh ocean air.
Right. Right. So you you the door's open. What are you going to do? And you see the box and you see the pelt.
Can the pelt fit into a Sloane's backpack?
Um.
Danny's got
Uh.
a backpack. Sloan has a satchel,
Okay,
and
yeah.
I think we should
Can we?
just grab the pelt and like get the heck out of here. That's exactly what we came for. We got to do our job.
That's it.
Okay.
But my
So
point is that
you.
we don't want to run out carrying this. I want to something safe. I
Oh,
want it to
you
fit
want
into
to
one of our packs,
you
either
want
one of
to?
our packs. I don't care.
Mhm.
I just want it
Um.
stowed
How
safe.
big
I
is
don't want
the
it
how
running.
big is the seal skin?
Yeah. You can fold it up. You can fold it up and put it in your backpack.
Cool. Well,
Okay.
that's what we're doing.
Yeah. Oh,
And
your
I'm wearing
Okay.
the
backpack's pretty
backpack.
big.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So
It's
it is pretty big
it's a
stuff.
book. It's like a book bag, you
Right.
know. So it's like putting a felt blanket into a book bag. It's
Yeah, now it's
pretty
just big
full
and
now.
bulky. Yeah.
Right. But it's attached to me. Is
So
my point.
so you've got the pelt in your backpack, and you're down in the cabin area,
Let's
and
let's get out of here.
right. So you can still hear scuffling going on up there.
We're
Um,
gonna try and sneak past it.
right. So um, you can, from what you can hear of the scuffle going on, it sounds like it's like pretty much right outside the door of the cabin you're in.
Actually, like it's come down, like it's come rolling down the stairs or something.
No, the door's closed to the deck.
Okay, we're in the upper
Um,
deck now. That cabin, not the cabin we found the seal pelt in, the cabin that we exit
right,
below decks into. Okay. Um,
right.
well, that cigar box wooden thing looked pretty heavy, so I'm going to bring it with me after we take the seal pelt so I can hit the guy in the head with it if I have to.
Okay. So, um, roll your fight. Well, actually, if you have to.
If I
So
have to. I
you're
mean,
in the
if
cabin.
have to, or the opportunity arises, meaning if the guy's rolling around and he's right there and I have an opportunity to hit him,
Right.
I'm hitting him.
Okay. So you're in the cabin. The door's closed, and you hear a fight outside. What exactly? What are you doing at this point? You've got the box. What are you going to do? Are you going to like open the door and
Open
try
the
to see
door.
what's
Sloan
happening?
opens
Or are
the
you going to
door and tries to run out, dragging Danny with them. We gotta go, we gotta go. Come on.
Mhm.
Danny's got the box. What do we
Right.
see when we
Okay.
open the door
So
and start trying to run away?
It's an afterthought as a weapon, by the way. It's not like I'm going to try and.
right.
It doesn't matter to me as I'm saying I'm defending the backpack, not the box.
Right. Okay. So you open the door, and actually, um, Salty has the guy up against the door, kind of like holding him. And so basically, the guy's back is to you. Um,
That's all I wanted to know.
right.
You'd hit an unarmed man. It's only a shame he's awake.
Hit him with the
Pow.
rock.
Um, so
And by the way, that's a
okay.
+3. That's a 15
Right. So
because
there's
I'm
15.
defending my friends.
Right. Right. Right.
Jesus
And
Christ.
then
Well, I
let me just
assume this
roll.
counts because that really is what I'm doing. I'm not trying to play the rules,
Yeah.
and
Right.
that's exactly what Danny's whole point is. He's not trying to hurt anybody. He's defending Salty and Sloan.
Okay. Um, so 7. So it's a difference of 7. Um, so basically, um, yeah, that's one step less than what you've gotten before. So basically, you explain their attack, the defender explains their response, but the defender is still badly hurt. And the attacker can alter any of these details um, that the defender explains. Um,
Well, the struggle's going on right outside the door, and
right.
they're actually where the door slides. And so as Sloan slides the door, this guy's kind of tilted, and he sort of looks over like, "What the fuck?" And as he does that, he's hit in
Okay.
the face with a piece of wood.
Sure.
Pow! I mean, just
Right.
before anything registers, I mean, pow! He's out cold.
Right. So he.
Wait, and it's that Spielberg moment where he's like, and he slides down, and he's just just
right.
slides down the wall. And Salty looks at me, and I wait, okay, high or low? Do I drop the box? I'm gonna say high. I drop the box.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, for some reason I'm still holding the box.
Right. So um, you knock him out.
We got it. We gotta get out of here.
Great. Great. Um, so as as you as he's sliding down, he's still um, conscious enough before he goes out that he shouts out McCormick, and then passes out. So
I should have hit him
and
harder.
And
he
you
grabs.
could, but you can alter any of those details, right? Within the fic, that's
Um,
part of the result.
the attacker can alter any of the details as the defender explains them. Then the attacker explains how this response fails to prevent harm.
Prevent
Like
how this response fails to. Sorry, I missed that part.
prevent harm. So like if the
Oh,
defender was
like
able to say, well, I'm
I
do
punch
something
him
that
back in the
I
face
block
or
the box,
something, or
or
yeah.
so that's actually okay. So that's what's going to happen is that he feels the door open behind you. He turns to look and sees you just in time to put his arm up, and shout out at that moment, McCormick, and
I'm hitting
then
again.
now, oh, the hell, so yeah, so now Danny, you can explain why putting his arm up um, didn't prevent harm from him.
because when the door opened, he assumed there was another adult opening the door, and the blow came from
Mhm.
below. I
Oh.
stepped underneath his
Mhm.
arm and hit him right in the face of that box. He put his arm up
Mhm.
to block a shot at shoulder height. I'm not at shoulder height.
Mhm.
Mm,
He
Right.
didn't
Right.
know. He didn't
Okay.
see me,
that's cool.
and
Right.
that's when he get
Okay.
yeah, yells McCormick. Then bam, head hits the window. The Roger Rabbit
Right.
bird thing as he slides down the wall.
Right.
And
So.
simultaneously, Sloan and Danny say, "We got it! We got to get out of here!"
Mhm. So Salty grabs the two of you and like kind of throws you forward, pushes you forward towards the boat, and quickly follows you and to get back on the boat. As you hear, as you're getting the boat and starting to row away, you hear footsteps pounding down the pier,
Pier. Yeah.
and you see McCormick um, coming down with, and at this point, a couple of his other crewmen that were, near enough to the commotion that their houses that they were with them, and then followed by the sheriff and others
Mm.
at that
Sure.
point.
Sure. And we just have to row out.
Um,
We just have to row out to where the light doesn't reach anymore, and there's not a lot of light out here.
right, yeah. Well, last night was full moon, so it is
Oh, that's
still
right.
Yeah,
So
very
we
maybe it.
bright.
just go back under. We just go under the dock.
Mm,
Right. So, um, so you're able to row away safely back to um, Salty's boat. Get back onto the boat from the side away from McCormick's boat, so they don't see him, and um, get back get back to the VFW. Um, you're and actually they Naomi and Anat Klosh are waiting there for you, and they say, let's go now and take this back to
mhm,
Rusnua,
mhm.
um, so that she can get back to her people. And then
Right.
they see the box that you have,
Which I just drop on the
and
table. Like, what am I doing with this thing? And I just drop it on the table. Sorry, I
right,
was in the same room.
But
I
it's
hit the
yeah,
thing.
but it doesn't sound like wood now. It sounds like something else, like heavier than it has any right to be.
Yeah.
right, right. So, are you going to quickly leave to go to Booth News, or are you going to look at the box, or what are you going to do?
Yeah, I
I
think
don't care about the box.
yeah.
Danny
Okay,
doesn't.
all
He
right,
got to get the pelt to Berthua. That matters.
right, okay. So they have their car there, and so they drive you out to as close as they can with their car, and then you hike out the rest of the way.
Yeah, but we only let Naomi and her father come with us.
Right, yeah, they're the only ones that were there at the
Okay, good, good,
at the
good. Okay,
everyone else was either involved or in somewhere preparing for the nighttime amphibious assault.
I,
Um,
and the whole way, like, I knew it. I told you we could help. I knew we could help.
and now we're saying yes, yes, thank you, Danny.
They're rolling their eyes.
Right, yeah. So they you let me think for a second. Let me consult my notes.
Hmm.
Let's. Is this a good place to wrap it up for this session, or do we want to play
Well,
the last scene with?
I'm trying to decide. Yeah, I'm trying to decide. Are we?
Are
As
we in a
this
Are
is
we in a final scene, or
exactly. That's what I'm
are
thinking.
we? Or is this
I
the
have an idea of
penultimate
how we
scene?
can. I have an idea of how we can extend this longer, or are we, it may extend the whole game longer. I mean, for like another week or two, or are we, are we wanting to say this is, we've had enough fun with this game, we're ready to be done with it. And what are you guys' thoughts?
I'm enjoying the heck out of it. So if it went on
Okay.
further or a second adventure started, that would be fine with me.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Aaron?
Yeah, yeah. I don't. I mean, could always just leave it
Okay.
as like the season cliffhanger too,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah. Um,
And you don't have
okay.
to go right into the next. And if this is a good place to end the adventure, we don't have to
Hmm.
end the campaign or the season. We can end the
Right.
adventure, and then if you want to, I'm happy to do a dungeon crawl for a couple of weeks while
Right.
you know, build
Right.
up your next plan.
Okay. Great. So that's good input. So as you're now this may go completely against the okay, no, got it, got it. All right, so you're, uh, damn it, Erica's family's like going crazy on the text. Um, as you're, Naomi and her father are taking you out to the forest. As you drive out there, you you see uh, you see car lights at the edge of the forest already out there,
That's not
and
good.
you as you approach, um, Naomi and Onakosh get out. They say stay in the car,
We get out.
and yeah, of course,
We just get the opposite side so they can't see us, and
Right,
whoever's over there can't see us either.
good,
right.
good, okay.
But we
So
we know the woods
you
around here better than they do. So if we had to make a run for it and hide in the woods, I think we'd feel more confident doing that.
yes, certainly. Um, so um, somebody in the car with the car lights, and the other car waits is waiting for you and waiting for them, and kind of yells out and saying, "We know you've got the pelt. Give it to us, or and you can have Sloane's mom back." And as at that moment, they pull one of the crewmen steps in front of the headlights and pushes Sloane's mom's forward onto her knees, and she's there, and that's where we'll leave it.
God damn it. That's crazy.
You fucker.
So those were sailors? I mean, those were crewmen, McCormick's crewmen?
Right? Yeah, they're part of McCormick's crewmen. One of the crew, yeah, some of the crew.
How would they know to get out here to the woods? And what are they
They know
doing with my
some.
mom?
Oh man, its war thing is big. I think you and I need to
What is?
disappear into the shadows.
What did you say? The what is big?
This war
Oh, this war
thing
thing.
is
This war
big.
thing.
It's
Mhm.
not just McCormick. See, this is what Danny's thinking. Wait a minute. It's not a war of McCormick versus the town. McCormick's just a piece of it. There's others. See,
Mhm.
Danny doesn't think like that. He's a kid, so it's only just growing. He's only understanding. Here's the way I explain it to my students because they're always like, I'm going to come back and visit you when I'm in high school. I said, I guarantee you a couple things you're going to say when you come here. And the first is, it seems so small.
Mm-hmm.
And part of it's because you're taller, but part of it's because your world got bigger. And
Mhm.
when you're in kindergarten and people say, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" You go, "I want to be a policeman or an astronaut or a lion." And by third grade, you already figured out, well, lion's probably going to happen. But now you've added firemen, and as you go on, you experience more and you see more possibilities in your world, and that means your world gets bigger. And I said, now that when you go to high school, you're going to experience a lot of things you never experienced here. Your world will get bigger. So when you come back here, this place will feel smaller. So the reverse is true here. Danny is experiencing a moment where his world is suddenly getting bigger.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And realizing the war is bigger than just than just the town,
Yes,
or than
yeah,
just
bigger than just a
the
town,
or
and not
just
just something about fortune.
Bigger than Brew and McCormick, really.
Right, and if suddenly Sloane's mom is involved, is in danger, then this is huge because she's not part of this as far as we can see, right? Why would she be?
Right. Yeah, which is bizarrely baffling. Right. Mom should be at work.
That's right. Kids can't comprehend. Well, why would the bad guys? She didn't have any. Of this. Well, of course, as adults, you're
But
like, well, of course.
clearly she does, right? Because she wouldn't have been captured.
Or if nothing else, because her kids are involved. She is therefore involved. Yeah, her kid,
Right. Right.
her kid
But
and his wacky little 9-year-old dangerous Tasmanian devil
but maybe
buddy.
maybe all this working she's doing is really working for a different cause, right?
Yeah, maybe one of the jobs is not what she says it is. Maybe she's not cleaning room at the hotel. Maybe she's part of this whole secret army thing. Interesting.
And what happened to my dad?
This is like more and more like Twin Peaks.
Yeah,
Twin Peaks meets the Goonies.
yeah, fun. Well, that was a good session, Nils.
Got up
Good. I'm
early
glad you
two
enjoyed it.
days this weekend. Aaron and I both did, and it was totally worth it.
So let's do a few boons and banes. Uh, Sloan, Aaron? What are your thoughts?
Um, well, the boon for sure was finally being able to talk to Sheila. So that was
Oh, my,
huge.
that role playing part right there, that was my biggest boon of the day.
Yeah.
Was
Mhm.
that especially the conversation with you just data dumping and stuff that was just so accurate, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, really well done.
Um,
Any banes?
no, I don't think so.
Great.
Except Sloane's mom being in danger because she always lets me
Mhm.
eat. She always, you know, she treats me like another mom. So I'm very upset about
Mhm.
hmm, yeah, we should just let Danny get him.
this. Send Danny in there swinging the bike lock over his head like a fucking flail.
How many crewmen are there? How many
Well,
McCormick's
right now you
guys?
only see one because he stepped in front of the headlights.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Danny, any other thoughts?
No, that was really fun adventure. Really nicely
Good.
done. But yeah, that moment was with Aaron. That was a wonderful conversation. Some
Mhm.
wonderful improv. I was just, yeah, highlight of my day. I can tell you that.
Cool. Well, your day's just begun, so there's an
Yeah.
opportunity still.
There is.
S-
Um, so I think my boon is just I like the progression of the whole, I guess, maturing story of you guys. That you know the parents, the adults felt you as kids, and you stood up for yourself, and now you're being included in this big thing,
In the plans.
In the
and
Seal War.
in the plan, in the adventure of the Golden Seal, yeah, that you were able to, you know, contribute and put forth ideas, and then you know that you were that the final plan was reliant on your participation. So you know, as kind of a almost a reward for your for your help and your benefit. Um, and
And to
yeah,
keep an eye
I
on
don't
us because they know we're going to be involved one way or another. So this way they keep
exactly.
an eye
Yeah,
on us.
if nothing else, yeah, exactly. Um, and I like you know I'm thinking about the rumors and everything like that. I'm liking the ability to weave all the rumors in that we came up with originally, um, and
I find that very entertaining.
at least most of them. I mean, I don't know that we're going to do much with Artie and his fake ID business, but we'll see. Um,
A couple
maybe you'll
more
need to
years
escape
that'll
the country.
matter to Sloan.
Yeah, yeah. Or maybe you'll need to escape the country after this, and he can help you out. So. Well, cool. Thanks, guys. I've enjoyed it, and it's another fun session.
So
So
tentatively planned
hopefully,
for Thursday night.
This week
yeah,
is a mess.
I think
This
that
week's
as
a
a great.
mess for me.
Okay.
Oh, is it okay?